Isolated chance of a shower or two during the evening and overnight hours. Most of the area looking dry into Thursday. A high of 91, going to be looking to break the long-standing record for the afternoon high. Partly sunny by the evening hours. We're going to be tracking some showers and storms with a first alert weather day as a strong to severe storm risk will continue to increase as we head towards the overnight hours until early Friday morning. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist James Gotch.
Let's get moving, St. Louis. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on NewsTalkSTL.
Have you noticed it's kind of that time of year around here where, the eyes get a little watery and it's kind of the hay fever, the allergy thing? There are some things you can do to make that a little bit easier. And our friends at Nutrition Stop, Ryan's going to help us with that a little bit later on today. Okay, so if you're dealing with this, and a lot of people are, make sure you're around by 7:35 because we've got some tips for you on that. All right, good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. We're looking at the 2026 and 2028 races, obviously, with J.B. Pritzker kind of in the middle of both of those. Obviously, he's running for re-election, and then he's using that as a launching pad for his 2028 ambitions. And some of his earlier posts pushing back against the Trump administration's effort to get violent crime under control, especially that from illegal aliens. Well, that's kind of burning him right now. It's coming back to haunt him a little bit. Stacey Matthews, also known as Sister Told Ya over at Red State, wrote about that on Tuesday, and she joined us on the program to kind of go over what it is that's it's causing some problems for Pritzker and his avoidance of it. Here's how that conversation went. So let me go to the video here that he put up on social media. It's real short, and this is late last year, and he's responding to the Trump administration wanting to send in the National Guard because of the rampant crime and violence in Chicago. So here's what J.B. Pritzker does. He goes out to the lake, and he's walking around early in the morning, and he does this.
Well, here I am on the path on the lakefront at 6 a.m. on a Monday. And we got a lot of people running, having a great time. It doesn't feel like a hellhole here. In fact, everybody's having a great time and enjoying themselves. So I don't know who in Washington thinks that Chicago is some sort of hellhole, but you may need to look inward.
Okay, now he posted a couple of videos like that, then and after that. Well, what just happened in Chicago, frankly, in that area? Mm-hmm. We're now joined by Stacey Matthews. You may know her as Sister Told Ya from redstate.com. Your new article, The Callous, Cheap Political Stunt J.B. Pritzker Pulled That Could Come Back to Haunt Him. Now, I don't know if that was the exact video you were referencing, Stacey, but basically he's gloating and arrogantly talking about this is beautiful and great. The administration's lying. There ain't nothing to see here. And then, of course, we have the Loyola student just brutally murdered, not too far from where that video was shot.
Right. Good morning, Mike and Susie. It's really, when you go back and look at that, in context of what happened last Thursday with Sheridan Gorman, who was the 18-year-old Loyola University freshman who was murdered on the Chicago lakefront by an illegal alien, allegedly. It just is not a good look for him. It wasn't a good look at the time. He actually made more than one video, Mike. He made multiple videos. One he made walking in the morning. One he made walking in the overnight hours, which was what Sheridan Gorman was doing when this criminal illegal immigrant allegedly shot her from behind. So it's not really something that will hurt him with Illinois voters, of course, because, we know how they vote typically, the majority. But he is expected to possibly make a presidential run in 2028. And this is something Republicans are going to use against him, and they should, because he basically mocked Trump for telling the truth about what was going on in Chicago related to crime involving criminal illegal immigrants that they were protecting. And this is another example of how sanctuary city policies can have a deadly effect on the citizens of their communities.
Good morning, Stacey. One of the things I saw people commenting on yesterday in particular was the fact that Pritzker was very quick to, run up to Minneapolis and talk about the travesty there and the sad, tragic situations involving Renee Good and Alex Preddy. And as of like at least middle of the afternoon yesterday, it didn't appear that he had really issued any statement whatsoever regarding Sheridan Gorman's murder. And I don't know if you've seen, if he has commented since then, but talk about, sending an ugly message.
Well, on top of the video, Susie, you're correct. As far as I'm aware, as of the writing of the article yesterday at RedState.com, Pritzker himself had not issued a statement on her murder. Neither had Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. These are both people who will immediately jump on a crime situation if the particulars suit the narrative for them. But the only statement that we've gotten so far from the Pritzker office is from a spokesperson who spent half of the statement complaining about the murder being allegedly politicized.
Mm-hmm.
That was the crux of the statement. And even if Pritzker did issue a statement at this point, she was murdered on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's now Tuesday. And, so any statement he issued now would just be even more insulting, to the whole situation.
Yeah, Stacey, when you look at any one of these particular crimes, the political calculus, and I hate to be so cold to say, okay, let's look at the political calculus. Any one of these is in the headlines, and then people talk about it, and then it's replaced by something else. But we're now seeing these piling on over and over and over all over the country, to the point where we're constantly being reminded that there are consequences for the open border, don't check them, invite in even known criminals into the country. And there's just no defense among kind of those common sense people in the middle. There's no defense in their eyes from the people like J.B. Pritzker, from the people like Kathy Hochul, from the people, like Brandon Johnson, who have basically prioritized others over the Americans. I mean, this isn't just right wing versus left wing.
I think that's a great point, and to me it's the main point in all of this for whoever the Republican nominee is in 2028, or even the contenders on some of the contenders on the Democrat side, might even be willing to point it out. But the thing is that this again just shows you the levels that Democrats will go to protect criminal illegal immigrants. They actually prioritize these people over American citizens. It's a really shocking thing, when you think about it. It's startling, honestly, the levels that they go through. We're seeing this play out in not just in Chicago. We're seeing it play out in California. We're seeing it play out in New York. We see it play out primarily in blue parts of the country, blue cities and blue states. And that's the message that Republicans, whoever the nominee is in 2028, really needs to hammer, is that the bottom line is here: criminal illegals are being prioritized over American citizens, and people are paying for it with their lives.
We're talking about 2028. JB's running for governor again this year. He's challenged now by Darren Bailey, who's the Republican candidate. And of course, JB has the advantage. He's the incumbent. He's got, endless amounts of money. But there is an election that he's got to face this year. And I think this is something that should be hammered over and over again. And the thing about this situation, too, is that not only is this someone who was let into the country, that it wasn't supposed to be here, but this is someone who was then had criminal interactions and was let go from those. And
during the Biden administration.
During the Biden administration. So I don't, Stacey, how do we, it's like you feel like you're banging the drum and no one's really hearing this, but it's how do we get this message across?
Well, a lot of it depends on the messenger and the stable that we have of potential candidates in 2028. Presumably, J.D. Vance will be running. There's, rumor about Marco Rubio running. The list is endless, but we have a lot of effective messengers on our side on this issue, and it just needs to be hammered nationally. Obviously, this is not going to hurt Pritzker much, if any, in Illinois in the governor's race, but I think it really could have an impact because it's not just Pritzker. Gavin Newsom, all the potential, 2028 Democrat contenders, they all have a history with this of people in their states being murdered by criminal illegal immigrants as these governors stand before the people of their states and tell them that we will do everything we can to protect the criminal illegals.
The article at redstate.com is called "The Callous, Cheap Political Stunt J.B. Pritzker Pulled That Could Come Back to Haunt Him," and that was written by our guest right now, Stacey Matthews, who you would know as Sister Told You Here. So you talk about hurting J.B. Pritzker or Gavin Newsom or whoever else. I mean, throw any other Democrat in there. When it comes to the immigration issue, I don't know that it's something that hurts them in the primaries and the caucuses, but the Democrats know that this is a massive minefield for them in the general election if the Republican nominee, whoever that's going to be, is smart enough to get out of the way and let that be on the spotlight of their record, of their history.
Well, crime is always an issue that hurts Democrats, and they can thank, in part, their embrace of the defund the police movement for that, Mike. And again, we have some pretty effective messengers on our side, and this is going to be brought up as not just a criminal illegal immigrant issue, but also a crime issue. Mm-hmm. And it's something that they're going to have to answer for in 2028. And as we've seen, they don't have any good answers. In fact, when things like this happen, they run away. They go quiet, and they have statements issued by their spokespeople that don't even really address the crux of the issue.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing over and over again. And I find it completely ironic. I mean, JB and I went to law school together in Chicago on the lakeshore. I'm not going to say we took a walk along the lake together, but we certainly spent time in the same area. And, even then versus now, yeah, you could walk along the lake in the daytime and not be worried about your safety. But the bottom line is this young lady and her friends were walking where they should have been safe. Doesn't matter if it was daytime or nighttime, in an area that I've been in many times, and so has JB.
I've been there. Yeah.
And for him to be this disingenuous about it and say, "Oh, look, there's nothing wrong here," and then have it turn around and there actually was something wrong there. I mean, normally if that's not a high crime area, he's right. But that doesn't matter when you've got this lawlessness. So, I mean, I don't know. I get really wound up about this, and I get extra aggravated about JB.
Not to mention that behind.
I think you're right. Susie, because you have to think when the videos were filmed, we know that Pritzker probably had mounds of security surrounding him.
That's what I was about to say.
Me and Mike could walk around the Chicago lakefront surrounded by high-priced taxpayer-funded security. So that's another layer to this, is that he's saying how safe Chicago is, but he's in one of the quote safer areas when he's filmed the video, and he's surrounded by security.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Stacey, you just got a minute or so left. It just always, being involved in politics and policy and media and communication and all that, it's still amazing to me that the left doesn't read the room. And not only do they not say, you know what, there is some common sense here that I think we can say we need to keep violent illegal aliens out and just be mushy middle on some other aspects of immigration, but that they double down and tell the public, no, you're wrong on it. How dare you get mad just because an American was murdered or a legal immigrant was murdered in the case of the young woman from Ukraine or, one of the others. How dare you not take the side of this violent illegal immigrant? And that's how it comes across to so many people.
It really does, Mike. And we actually have seen it play out here after the murder of Irina Zarutska. Now, let me just preface that by saying Irina Zarutska was not murdered by an illegal, but she was murdered by a repeat offender. So it's a similar issue, and we had a debate in the state legislature about a new bill that eventually was passed about a month and a half after her murder. And we had Democrats in the state legislature who were basically making the same argument that we shouldn't be so tough on these people, that we need to look into mental health programs and things of that nature versus, stronger penalties for people who are repeat offenders. It's just a vicious cycle. And again, whoever our messenger is in 2028, we've got some good ones, and I feel confident that they would push the point home about how catastrophic it would be to have another Democrat be in the White House, because they probably will have the same thought process on criminal illegals that J.B. Pritzker and Gavin Newsom have.
Okay, Wednesday, you know what that means. The gates are open. Let's get your 80s bump music request in for Flashback Friday, which, by the way, Flashback Friday is going to be done from Whistlepig Outdoors in Troy. Susie and I are going to be there doing the show from Troy. So you know what? Come on out and say hi while we are doing the show on Friday. But in the meantime, let's get your bump music request in. Just send them to Jerome or just put them on social media. We'll get in as many as we can right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here. Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
Cardinal Nation, it's time to paint the town red.
Opening day of Cardinal baseball at Busch Stadium.
And there's nothing else like it.
It's a St. Louis tradition.
Two things define St. Louis: Cardinal baseball and News Talk STL.
Play ball!
Cardinal baseball opening day, March 26th, backed by our hometown favorites, Best Buy Flooring, Jim and I Wealth Management, and Whistle Pig Outdoors.
Cardinal baseball.
Lower your car payment today. Lower your car payment today. Yes, you heard us right. You can lower your car payment right now by making this free call and save up to $1,400 a year on your current car payments. Think about your current car payment right now. What's that costing you per year? Now think about what it would be like to put an extra $1,400 back in your pocket. That's the average savings our customers experience. We can help you drive the same car and pay less every month by lowering your car payment's interest rate to as low as 4.67%. At Rate Genius, we can work with you to refinance any car payment. If you qualify, it costs you nothing to find out how you can lower your car payment. To learn more, call this number right now.
800-493-5670. 800-493-5670. 800-493-5670. That's 800-493-5670.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Well, guess what?
What?
Sam Page is at it again.
That could mean any number of things, Mike. Can you be more specific, please?
Virtue signaling without actually accomplishing anything.
Pretty par for the course.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, unless getting people to hate you more is accomplishing something, then in that case, maybe he did this. This is one of those where, because Sam Page comes out and he announces, okay, we're going to do more budget cuts because the council just, is restricting the budget and cutting the budget. And look at this, look what I have to do. And he tries to do this paternal thing. It's like, well, because you guys can't get your act together, I have to do this and this and this. And everybody's looking around going, what are you talking about? So I've got more details in the news dump here, then we'll go into more depth at 6:20 on this. But for instance, he's talking about that 3 of the main county offices, including Clayton, they're going to be closed to the public on Fridays. So that's a budget cutting measure, except it's not, because everybody still has to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the public isn't allowed in. So I mean, it just makes no sense whatsoever.
This sounds like a child saying, "Mom and Dad, you need to make more money so you can raise my allowance."
Right. Yes, that's a good way to put it. It really is. And then he's cutting $50,000 out of the budget for the JB Blast, which is a big 4th of July fireworks celebration in South County, obviously the JB Barracks. And that is in, of course, that could be, kind of a shot at Mike Archer, if anything, because that's his district down there. Except when he says, well, that's $50,000 has to be cut. And actually, I first read that, I'm like, okay. Everybody loves that thing. I've actually never been to it personally, but I know it's really, really popular. And so I get that, except others are going, yeah, except the county doesn't spend all that money. That's the budget, but that's not what the county's actually spending on it. So we'll talk to Mike at 7:05. I texted Mike. I'm like, hey, you want to talk about this? And his answer was, oh, yeah. Yeah. So expect Mike to not hold back at 7:05.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, he's and I've got a soundbite from him. We'll play it around the 6:20 mark. TV cameras everywhere, and he referred to Sam Page as like dealing with a petulant child.
Wow.
I mean, in public, so he was not holding back at all. Oh my goodness. Okay, so with the government shutdown thing, I saw this interesting thing. Delta Airlines, they have now announced, and this is kind of virtue signaling, but not all virtue signaling is bad. Okay, we tend to think of virtue signaling as that just is doing nothing, but I think most of the airlines, if not all of them, they have some kind of perks thing for those in high level elected office. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, you may say, well, that's just a giveaway to the lawmakers. It probably is. But they also fly literally probably 2, 3, 4 times a week, and they're spending, a huge amount of money with them. So they had this perks program for Congress critters that basically when you make your reservation, you can go past security. They've got all these perks, the escorts. And Delta announced publicly, they're like, we are suspending all perks for Congress members.
Good.
While the shutdown's going on.
Good.
Yeah. That's been the reaction from basically everybody. It's like, you can sit your butt in line and wait for 4 hours like everybody else.
You caused a mess, you clean it up.
Yep. And even the Republicans who are trying to get stuff paid, they're caught up in it as well. You know what? That's the way it goes. This is constitutionally one body. So Delta made that announcement, and basically everybody did what you did, Jerome. They were like, good.
A celebration 100 years in the making. The National Route 66 Centennial Kickoff Celebration, presented by Vital Farms. Thursday, April 30th through Sunday, May 3rd in Springfield. The celebration kicks off with musical guests featuring Little Big Town, Chris Jansen, Gary LaVox, Gretchen Wilson, the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, and the Haygoods. Events continue through the weekend. You are invited to celebrate Route 66 with us April 30th. Tickets and information on Route66Kickoff.com. Brought to you by the Missouri Route 66 Centennial Commission.
This year, America turns 250, and NewsTalkSTL is celebrating our nation's semi-quincentennial all year long. NewsTalkSTL, #1 for live and local Soros-free talk, with proud supporters of our 250th birthday celebration. Roman T. Jewelers, Luxury Driver STL, Harry J. Steakhouse, and Snooze Mattress. 250 years strong, and we're just getting started. 1019 and 94.1 NewsTalkSTL.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time, make this free call now, and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
It's a bully, but we aren't afraid of a fight. It's elusive, but our focus never fades. It's deadly, but we were born to defeat cancer. You may not have heard of us, but our work has helped millions impacted by cancer. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We are leaders in advancing breakthroughs in immunotherapy, genomics, and personalized medicine. This research saves lives. After 65 years of fighting blood cancers, we've arrived at a game-changing belief. The cures for cancer are in our blood. The drugs and treatments we've developed for blood cancers have helped people affected by many different types of cancers. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Beating cancer is in our blood. Learn more at LLS.org.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. With Pakistan acting as a middleman, a U.S.-authored peace proposal has reportedly been laid on the table in Tehran.
A 15-point plan has been transmitted to Iran from the United States, seeking to potentially end the war that has just disrupted the Middle East. Now, the details of this plan remain in question, but officials have told the Associated Press that Pakistan, which has been one of the countries trying to get a diplomatic route to the end of the conflict, has transmitted it to Tehran. Pakistan, Egypt, and Turkey have been key in trying to negotiate a settlement to the war.
Correspondent John Gambrell says there are reports that Iran will allow non-hostile tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, and the U.S. reportedly preparing to send thousands of troops, including Army paratroopers, to the Middle East. President Trump says so much has been accomplished in just 3 weeks of war.
We killed all their leadership, and then they met to choose new leaders, and we killed all of them. And now we have a new group, and we can easily do that, but let's see how they turn out. We have really regime change. You know, this is a change in the regime.
Despite Tehran's denials, President says the U.S. has been talking with Iran about what it would take to end the hostilities. The Homeland Security funding standoff yet to be resolved in the Senate. That means the TSA workers are still working without pay, and that has resulted in some very long lines at some airports. A New Mexico jury ordering Facebook and Instagram parent Meta to pay $375 million after finding its platforms harm children's mental health. The annual Conservative Political Action Conference kicking off today in the Dallas suburb of Grapevine. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures up 402 points, NASDAQ futures 241 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-69.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking highs towards that 80-degree mark this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Could see an isolated chance of a shower or two during the evening and overnight hours. Most of the area looking dry into Thursday. A high of 91, going to be looking to break a long-standing record for the afternoon high. Partly sunny. By the evening hours, we're going to be tracking some showers and storms with a first alert weather day as a strong to severe storm risk will continue to increase as we head towards the overnight hours until early Friday morning. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at SerenityWealthBiz.com. That's SerenityWealthBiz.com.
Tim Jones here to introduce you to your new favorite roofing company, Corel Roofing.
There were 4 major storms last year. Did your roof take a hit? Do you even know? Most homeowner insurance policies require claims to be filed within 1 year, so time's running out for a closer look. At Corel Roofing Company, you get a local roofing specialist who will advocate for you every step of the way. Give yourself peace of mind. Schedule your roof inspection today with Corel Roofing at CorelRoofingCo.com. That's CorelRoofingCo.com.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
On the next, Larry Connors, USA.
The story behind the story, The Twilight Zone, and the episode that got banned for decades.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Big guy, one of the biggest in the world.
Susie Moore.
Do you think he's ready?
He's not ready.
Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be playing for everything.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, Republicans call it the Missouri First Map. The state's Supreme Court calls it legal.
Right now.
Exactly. So we got the update for you on that. A lot of Republicans around Missouri, man, they are celebrating this one. Sam Page makes another round of spending cuts, and some of you may have to make different plans for the 4th of July now.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we'll see. He's had a big big to-do about his budget cuts, and this just leaving a bunch of people scratching their heads. Also, happy opening day to all those who celebrate.
Is that... Oh, not here. But...
Not here, but just in Major League Baseball overall.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's a lot that's going on today here. It's 6:06 right now. Let's go ahead and get started with a news dump.
The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The Morning News Dump.
Okay, we're going to go into more depth on this a little bit later here, but Missouri's new congressional map stands. That is the decision of the state Supreme Court, which upheld a lower court's ruling saying that lawmakers have the right to redistrict basically anytime they want. As it stands,
they just have to do it a minimum of once every decade.
Right. The court, in another ruling, the court upheld the state's voter ID requirement as well.
Yeah, that one might have been more about standing, about whether or not the people challenging it had the right to challenge it. But even so, it stands.
Right. The end result is the Missouri
good.
can still require a photo ID to vote. So we'll we'll go into more depth on that here in just a little bit. All right. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page. You know, whenever I start copy like that it's going to be something weird.
Yeah, what do you do now?
Okay, so he's blaming the county council for another round of budget cuts. Nothing new on that. But among those, he is canceling the JB Blast 4th of July event in South County. The big fireworks
Jefferson Barracks Bridge kind of stuff.
Yep, down there by the little amphitheater and the fireworks over the river and all that kind of stuff. And he's announcing that 3 county buildings will be closed to the public on Fridays starting this week. Okay, so we're going to dig into this a little bit more here. And the thing is, people are saying, so how's that saving money? It's gonna tick off a lot of people, but what's it actually doing? And then at 7:05, so 1 hour from right now, Councilman Mike Archer, whose district includes the JB Bridge and the JB Barracks area, that's going to be, he's going to be there. And I'm telling you, I was texting with him yesterday. He is fired up about it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We'll get a little preview of that here in just a little bit as well. Okay. The spokesman for Iran's military command says that its armed forces will fight until complete victory.
Okay.
Got it? Ready?
That's you.
Not me.
Let's try it. Everything is where it should. Let's try it again here.
The comments by Major General Ali Abdullani Al-Abadi of the Katan al-Anbiya Central Headquarters appear related to U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement that there were negotiations ongoing between Tehran and Washington. Iran has denied any talks are taking place, though its foreign minister has been talking to counterparts around the region. Iranian state television quoted Ali Abadi as saying, quote, Iran's powerful armed forces are proud, victorious, and steadfast in defending Iran's integrity, and this path will continue until complete victory. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Okay, a couple things on that. One, that's a lot of tough talk for a country that's getting annihilated. And two, I think Bernie just made up some of those names and we're never
Ali
gonna know the difference.
Abali Adalabi.
Yeah, I think he just like cast a spell and like some genie popped out somewhere.
It did have kind of an abracadabra feel to it.
Kind of, yeah.
I actually do want to go back and listen to it at some point and like learn that one and have it be like something that I like bust out on people as a party trick.
Yeah, because the first time I heard that, I'm like, how many times did he have to try to cut that before he got all that right?
I'm betting more than one.
Bernie Ben is pretty good. But
He's
still.
pretty good, but I'm betting more than one.
Exactly. All right, Attorney General Pam Bondi standing next to President Trump, where the swearing-in happened of the newest member of the cabinet yesterday. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, because I can't say Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. I guess I could. I'd just be wrong.
Yeah.
Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen sworn in at the Oval Office on Tuesday, and here's part of what he had to say after becoming the new secretary.
No one's going to outwork me, and I'm not going to let any of them outwork me. The president has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. And so thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and not that he's coming into an easy time for DHS.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination, because he's got to deal with senators trying to end the DHS partial shutdown that's causing problems all over the country and has lasted now for several weeks. Here's the story from Greg Cluxton.
The plan being discussed would authorize funding for much of the Homeland Security Department, including TSA airport workers who are going without pay. But Congress would withhold funding from ICE and its removal operations, which are at the core of the dispute. Senate leaders from both parties say the two sides are working in a serious way and hopefully headed in the right direction. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Now, a lot of that is just what you say to the media to get out to the public to make people think, well, maybe we're close to a solution.
Yeah, and I have a question. We're talking a lot about TSA employees not getting paid, right?
Yeah.
But are FEMA employees getting paid? Are Coast Guard employees getting paid?
You know, I haven't heard.
Are Secret Service getting paid?
I have not read anything that references on any of those.
Yes, I know what my work is today.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because, I mean, that's where it's most visible because of the airport,
right?
You know,
We're
of that.
far. If you're dealing with you can deal with a TSA agent because of something good. You're going on vacation. You're going to see the grandkids. If you're dealing with a FEMA person, it's because something really bad happened.
Yeah. So I'd be interested to know that. I'll have to look into that.
Check into that. All right. So let's get some dueling sound bites here on this. Republican side, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican out of Tennessee, was on the Ingram angle on Fox.
DHS workers have gone without a paycheck 46% of the time, Laura. And what you see is the Democrats made a deal. It was bipartisan. Then they backed away from the deal. Their goal is to abolish ICE and defund federal law enforcement.
Okay, so Chuck Schumer says, no, we just want some changes.
Every Democrat in my caucus has been consistent all along. We have to rein in ICE and stop the violence. We need reform.
When he says stop the violence, he's not referring to the violence of the illegal aliens. By the way, just so we know.
To clarify.
That's just so we understand where he's coming from here. All right, no excuse. Early voting is now underway on the Missouri side for the April elections. So here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Contact your county clerk or your election board if you have any questions. I did see a post by Kurt Barr, the director of elections for St. Charles County, saying that at least tonight they're actually going to be open for early voting until 7 p.m.
At the election
office. At the election office itself. Now, I don't know that that's an everyday thing, but at least for tonight, if you want to run out after work, you can have a little bit extra time to do that if you want.
Well,
okay, the Blues get the win at home, shutting out the Capitals. Final score at Enterprise was 3-0. Once again, this happens all the time with the Blues. 3 different Blues scored those 3 different goals.
That's nice.
Which is really good.
Sharing them all.
In any sort of sport, if you never know who's going to be the threat to score, that's actually a really good thing. Yeah, Jordan Kyrou got another one. He had the 3rd goal.
Yeah, it's also a good sign that we have players that can score because in the past there have been teams where they rely on one person. If that person can't score, nobody scores that game.
Yep, exactly. Joel Hofer had 21 saves. And, when I saw that, 21 saves, I'm like, that's not a lot of saves, which means that the Blues, I didn't see the game, but if they only had 21 shots on goal, Blues controlled that puck.
It sounds like it, unless the other team just didn't quite show up.
Right. All right, up next is another home game on Thursday. The Sharks are going to be in town for this one.
Baby Shark.
All right. It is opening day for Major League Baseball The Yankees and the Giants have the first game of the season, which is different. There used to be a tradition that the Cincinnati Reds had the first game every single year.
Oh.
But they've, I guess, kind of done away with that. And then,
Yeah.
of course, they did away with it with having the first game like in Japan a couple of times.
Yeah.
So tonight is going to be on the West Coast. Yankees, Giants, first pitch is at 7:05 our time. And this game is on Netflix.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Netflix.
Okay.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, if you wanted to watch like every game, somebody did a look. You would have to subscribe to like 15 different things to see it. But Netflix has the game tonight. Cardinals start the season at home tomorrow. The Rays are in town for this one.
It is no more. And all at once depart, no destination. Making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now.
What? Wake me when the show starts.
It's already been on a while.
Wake me when it's over.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Cap Pastrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline.
Hello, Kirk Ilsinger, chairman of the Republican Party for the city of St. Louis, and we believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. I invite you to our meetings the first Thursday of every month. Learn more at stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Tired of settling for generic fishing gear? Say hello to Bullseye Bait and Tackle, O'Fallon's one-stop shop for serious anglers. Live bait, premium tackle, rods, reels, and an unbeatable selection of lures from top brands like Megabass, Zoom, and Berkley. Whether you're after bass, catfish, crappie, or bluegill, they've got the gear to help you land the big one. Plus, their expert team, led by Mark and Liz, provides rod and reel repair services. Bullseye Bait and Tackle, 266 Fort Zumwalt Square, or at bullseyebaitandtackle.net.
Looking for unbelievable deals? Stop by Overstock Outlet in Lake St. Louis or Warrenton. Open 7 days a week. Discover big savings on a huge variety of merchandise with no hassle. Just great prices. Visit us in Lake St. Louis on Highway N or in Warrenton on Boones Lake. Check out our Facebook page at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis or go online to overstockoutletstl.com. Unbeatable value, friendly service, and you never know what we'll have at Overstock Outlet.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
This is Kirk Hilsinger, chairman of the St. Louis City Republican Party. Connect with us at stl-gop.com. And now back to Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, the Susie dance scale went up on that one. It started off at about a
slow
4, but I think
burn.
it went up to like a 6 for you.
Slow burn.
Got there.
Give me a little while to get into the groove there.
All right, Sam Page is big man again.
Okay.
Yeah. So he is canceling, or at least he's calling for canceling the big 4th of July party in South County, at least the fireworks part of it. Now, I'm still wondering, and we're going to talk to Mike Archer about this here in about 40 minutes or so. I'm still wondering if something isn't going to happen. But Sam Page says this thing's off because we don't have the money for it.
It's interesting that it's in, like, are there other events, other 4th of July events that are going to go forward that the county's paying for?
That's a good question. We should ask Mike
Because
here
I wonder
in
if
just
that's
a
targeted.
little bit. Well, possibly.
So essentially, it sounds like he's mad that you won't give me more money. Well, I'm taking my ball and going home.
I'm
and
taking
your
your
ball.
ball
I'm
and
taking
going
your
home.
ball and
Yeah,
going
exactly. Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute here. But he's also announcing that 3 county offices, including the Clayton building, is going to be closed to the public on Fridays. I think a lot of people read that headline and they're like, oh, they're going to close the offices on Fridays to save money. Well, no. They're closing it to the public on Fridays. Here's part of what he said at the council meeting last night and explaining why that he's made the decision to close county offices to the public on Friday starting this week.
This will allow our Department of Revenue employees to catch up on the backlog. It will allow them to process senior property tax freeze applications, and it will allow them more time to process tax-free refunds. It will help some.
Okay, does that make sense to anybody?
No, not really. And he sounded like, I don't know. He sounded like he wasn't really with it.
Yeah.
Like kind of out of it.
I'm not smelling burnt toast, but I think I just stroked out there for a second.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Okay, precisely. Basically, we're going to close them on Fridays so people can do the jobs they're hired to do in the first place. That's not a knock on the county workers, but like literally that's what you were going to do anyway.
Did they not work when?
Yeah. So Rita Hurd Days, the county councilwoman, also a Democrat, she was asked about this by a reporter from KSTK, and here was her reaction to that.
You're not saving any money by doing that. You're just simply denying, again, the constituency access to the government that they're paying for.
Yeah?
I think she's done slid off his cracker.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get the sense that he's just in the, no cares to give mode.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just going to kind of say and do whatever he wants and make life miserable for everybody else because he's miserable.
Yeah.
He's definitely starting his villain arc. I mean, before it was the baby steps. Now I think he's going full mask off with it, just retribution for feeling like he's been unjustly denied his right to violate codes. And spend money.
That's before we get into it, because I sent you this morning.
You did.
I actually
looked at it.
have a copy of the ethics complaint against Sam Page.
I did not even know that.
I've got it right here because we'll talk to Mike about. Mike Archer sent this over to me, this appears because it includes a bunch of Sunshine Law request confirmations that appear to show that Sam Page 100% violated the county charter.
After the vote.
After it was reinforced. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But he also announces that the budget for the JB Blast, which, have you ever been to that? I've actually never been to that. South County, there by the river, the 4th of July, big fireworks, big event, that they're canceling that. Here was his claim on that.
The total outlay for this event is around $50,000, but it's $50,000 that isn't available.
Okay, so on the surface of that, I want to be fair. If the county is tens of thousands of dollars in the red, okay, then you look for things that you don't need to cut it.
Things that are not necessary.
Right. I've got absolutely no issue with that. Here's the thing, though, is that that's the budget for it. But there are a whole bunch of corporate sponsorships. And according to multiple news outlets, the actual county cost is about $2,600 after all the corporate sponsorships.
So he's saving the county at most $2,600, but trying to claim he's saving $50,000? No, this is retribution.
Yeah. So Mike Archer, after the county council meeting, was being interviewed by a KSDK reporter, and here's what he had to say, and here's how that went.
It's not costing St. Louis County that much money, especially with the private sponsors, for a community-related event.
Is it retaliation then against, not getting the budget that he proposed?
I've said that sometimes I feel like I'm dealing with a petulant child.
Well,
dang.
If the kids' shoes fit, wear them. Couldn't think of a kid brand.
Oh, man, I forgot about Keds.
Buster Brown shoes. It's a Buster Brown shoes fit.
No, I love the Keds one.
I know.
Remember those?
Of course I do.
Yeah, that would have been like grade school years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keds were the thing for a little bit. Jerome.
They were.
They were like the thing.
What's that?
They're little tennis shoes.
Keds.
It was a brand of tennis shoes.
Yeah, it would have been the late 70s, early 80s, maybe. Yeah.
Those was like pump up ones. Or?
No. That was years later.
Yeah,
that was years
before
later.
those.
Yeah, this was way before those.
These were not high tech. They were just a popular brand of shoes, tennis shoes, sneakers for kids.
They had some really slick TV ads, and all of us wanted Keds, especially the Velcro ones. The Velcro ones without the laces with the Velcro. Yeah. And the thing is that some of those were terrible because the bottoms, like the soles, were like plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So you ran like, the cartoons, like where your feet were going crazy, but you didn't go anywhere for a little bit. But anyway, so we're going to talk to Mike here, just a little over half an hour on this. So what we have, with Sam is this is draconian. I have to cut all this. And then he says the county council can't even get their act together. I think he referred to it as a comedy of errors. Well, the county council is Republican and Democrat, majority Democrat, who are being fiscally responsible for the most part, 6 of them at least.
Mm-hmm.
And they're basically saying we have to make major cuts because of overspending. Mike Archer went on to say in one of those news reports, I think it was Channel 4's, that he said for years and years, what had happened is the county executive just sent the budget to the council and they rubber stamped it. And that's one of the ways we got into the problem that we've got. Now, Sam Page is sending it and the county council's going, I don't think so. And he's mad. And the thing is that there are big ways that we can cut spending. And his approach has been so, listen, the personality issues with him aside, and I don't think he's a good person.
Mm-mm.
I just really don't. I mean, this isn't a matter of I disagree. Listen, there are a lot of Democrats that I don't see. One of my best friends in St. Louis, he and I literally in our day jobs are trying to put each other out of work.
Mm-hmm.
He is a union organizer for the teachers unions in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And we've even talked about it. It's like 9 to 5. We're actually completely putting at basically a war with each other. 5:01, we're buddies. Let's go get some food. Let's go get some wings. Let's go get a beer. Let's go play some baseball.
Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, precisely. So there are plenty of people on the left I get along with just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I would not get along with Sam Page in person. I don't want to sit down and have a cup of coffee and pick his brain. I would love to sit down and tell him what I think of him. But this is from a policy perspective. This is personal grudges and vengeance because he's getting beat and he's getting humiliated over and over and over. And this is a pattern with him because he basically had that local Teflon thing. He got reelected even though Democrats can't stand him just because it's a blue county.
I'm going to admit that since I've not been a St. Louis County resident during his tenure, I probably haven't, followed him super closely, but I've yet to see anything from Sam Page that makes me go, oh, yeah. Like, right. I mean, he's doing his job. Like, he's leader. I disagree with him, but he's doing his job, and I get it. Not once.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, I go back to, let's say, like when Mel Carnahan was governor.
Mm-hmm.
Center-left.
Mm-hmm.
Emphasis probably more on center.
Yeah.
Until he ran for U.S. Senate, then he got farther left. But there were times where you're like, I don't think that's the right policy.
Right.
But I understand what he's doing.
Sure.
I just think he's wrong, but it's a defensible, logical. That's not Sam Page. I mean, you go back to the shutdowns and the mask, and he was one of the biggest blessings to St. Charles County during the COVID era.
It's true.
I remember one time I went over to Cyberg's in St. Peter's. Met one of my buddies.
Been there many times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too. And I stopped in there and right there off Mid-Rivers Mall, and the place was packed.
Sure.
Now, this is while they were sending in St. Louis County, they were sending like health officers, told them to act like police to go and just drop in on restaurants to make sure they weren't serving people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in there at Cyberg's and the place is packed. And I remember my friend Matt and I were there and I told the waitress, I'm like, good Lord, you guys are packed.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, yeah, almost everybody's from the other side of the river.
It's true.
I went, well, that's me.
Yeah.
And she goes, this has been the best thing for our business other than like Sunday football.
Yep.
So Sam Page has done some great things for the counties competing against St. Louis County.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what do we got?
We have the man that loves to hate us. This is Dave.
Dave, you are on the air. Got about 90 seconds, Dave.
Good morning, folks. Now, they like calling names on the other side. And see, I'm a juvenile myself, so I have absolutely no problem slinging that load of dog manure back at him. Now, Mike, you be nice to Adolf Page, okay? He's entitled to the Third Reich. He wants to goose step out there in Clayton till he's going to goose step his way into a prison cell.
And the funny part is we look at like this, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, Dave, with the ethics complaint here against him. It appears that they've just got him dead to rights, that he knew about the law. He violated the law anyway because he's apparently above it.
I'm sure, unfortunately, all of us at one point in time have had surgery. Can you imagine you were in the hospital, okay, and your anesthesiologist comes in, and it's that moron.
Yeah. And
then if you wake up, let's say you don't wake up, and you happen to go to heaven, and you have Corey Bush, and you have Kim Gardner as your nurses. Or let's say you do wake up and you're alive. Can you imagine, God, just take me, kill me. Can you imagine those three people in the medical field? No, thank you.
No, without a doubt, Dave. Thanks so much, man. Actually, that was like one of my nightmares is Sam Page is an anesthesiologist and Kimberly Gardner is a nurse, because you remember I think we knew each other back then.
We did, but not very well.
But I had that heart thing, and then I had that I had the COVID hospitalization.
You had the OG bad COVID.
I had the OG bad. Yeah, I was in the hospital for that. And when I was had to go in for a separate thing, a heart thing, I remember going, if Sam Page is the anesthesiologist, I'm like, no. I've been harder on him than just about anybody in St. Louis media. I'm not putting my life in that guy's hands.
I don't blame you.
Not a chance.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Someone in that control room is out of control.
On NewsTalk STL.
What you like, what I like, why can't we both be right? Attacking, defending, until
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking highs towards that 80-degree mark this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Could see an isolated chance of a shower or two during the evening and overnight hours. Most of the area looking dry into Thursday. A high of 91. Going to be looking to break a long-standing record for the afternoon high. Partly sunny. By the evening hours, we're going to be tracking some showers and storms with a first alert weather day as a strong to severe storm risk will continue to increase as we head towards the overnight hours until early Friday morning. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch.
The Hammond Institute at Lindenwood University and NewsTalk STL invite you to an exclusive discussion on Missouri's tax future. Manish Bhatt, Vice President of State Tax Policy for the Tax Foundation, will explore our state's tax competitiveness and the latest efforts to eliminate individual income tax and property tax. Wednesday, March 25th at Lindenwood University, part of the H.F. Langenberg Speaker Series. The event is free, but you must RSVP at hammondinstitute.org. That's hammondinstitute.org.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. As we follow the important issues facing Jefferson County, if you want to stay informed on Jeffco politics, especially in this all-important midterm election year, make sure to tune in this and every Sunday at high noon here on Newstalk STL.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
If it's a big story in Jefferson County, you'll hear about it on Jeffco Patriot Radio. Sundays at noon on Newstalk STL.
Yo, this is Vic. Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every Wednesday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Brought to you by Heroes Care, Alamo Military Collectibles, Gemini Wealth Group, Michael's Funeral Home, and Freddy's Market.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community. Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
NewsTalk STL.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on NewsTalk STL.
All right, Republicans get another win in court, and this is over the new congressional map on the Missouri side. Yeah, we'll get to that here in just a minute. And Susie and I were actually just discussing this in that last information segment. Just seems like it's chaos in the news everywhere. And the only reason it feels that way is because it's chaos in the news everywhere. Yeah. But don't let it throw you off. You can keep up to date all day with redstate.com, which is your one-stop shop for conservative news and commentary. So, Susie, what should we check out first today?
This is the Red State Rundown.
Yeah, we are definitely continuing to cover the war and everything else going on in Washington, D.C. There's so much of it, it's hard to keep up with. But we're also kind of giving you some other stuff to bear in mind. First, I wanted to highlight an article from our good friend Stacey Matthews. Sister told you.
Just here yesterday.
Yes. This is a VIP piece from her. It's titled, America's Awful Problem is Getting Worse, and that's AWFL.
Remind everybody what that stands for.
Affluent, white,
female
liberal.
Urban liberal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. The problem is getting worse, and here's the latest example. So she's just using several different examples of, why affluent, white, female, urban liberals are awful.
Yeah.
It's actually a good look at it, and I highly recommend it. Something you were just talking about, an article by one Susie Moore, GOP scores redistricting win with Missouri Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah, we're going to get to that, because I want to get to that here in just a minute here as well. So we'll preview your article on that.
That one's from me. Yep. And then this one kind of flew under the radar yesterday. It's from our friend Jennifer Oliver O'Connell. I don't know if you saw, but Kermit Gosnell died.
I saw that, yeah.
So for those who don't remember, he was like the abortion murder doctor.
It was one of the most gruesome. I mean, I think there were people who went from rabidly pro-abortion to pro-life when his story was finally told.
It was horrific. Jennifer's article is titled, Speaking Ill of the Dead, Abortion Doctor Kermit Gosnell Dies in Prison, but was justice really served?
Yeah.
Definitely check that out.
That's one to check out, because the Speaking Ill of the Dead, I saw a number of people comment, kind of mixed feelings on it. Here's what I really want to say. But there's been, of course, after this weekend, we haven't really talked about it, President Trump tweeted out, I'm really glad Robert Mueller's dead kind of stuff. And then there was a big, debate. I said something about that on Twitter. I'm like, if you complained about, for instance, the left, peeing on the grave of Charlie Kirk, then we shouldn't do it to our political opponents either, kind of thing, and that's just class. And then somebody like this dies and there's nothing good to say about them. So where, a lot of people were like, I really want to speak ill of him because of what he did with his life. But yeah, that's an interesting approach.
Yeah, I mean, as all I can speak to is for me personally.
Yeah,
so
right.
I generally will just refrain from saying anything because if I'm, invited to speak on someone like a Kermit Gosnell, it will not be pretty.
No.
And so I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, and there are people who just led horrific lives and did terrible things, and
I'll let God sort that out.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. All right. Okay, so we were just chatting about this. I'm going to follow up this before we get to the Missouri map thing, Susie. I had mentioned, because we had somebody message in, hey, you're going to be talking about this about the war. Well, it's going to be probably, I'm sure, in the national news. I was looking at the news sites. I mean, looked at Red State, look at Newsmax, look at Fox, look at the mainstream ones as well. All the different individual stories about war-related stuff there were like 10 or 12, all with separate stories. Mm-hmm. So it does feel like it's drinking from the fire hose. And now we have so much stuff here in St. Louis to talk about that I just didn't have room for everything. But there is so much. It does feel like chaos. I mean, it does feel like it's overwhelming to a lot of people. And that's not what I want to do. We want to equip you with stuff and give you a chance to speak out on it, like Dave did just a little bit ago when he called us. And so we want you to be able to speak out on it. But sometimes the confusion is the tactic, I think. And other times it's just so big and so political that there's no shortage of different skirmishes about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're getting information on a highly volatile charged situation from multiple fronts that have completely opposing interests, and it's just a very fluid situation. Yeah. So I'm kind of at the point now where, like, if something concrete big happens, like we want to report this just happened, this blew up, this deal was made, those sorts of things, I will dial in. But the rest of it, to quote my friend ChatGPT, it's just noise. I mean, it becomes that. And so I can't operate like that. Yeah. I mean, I have to be able to pay attention and actually know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to focus in on the stuff that I can actually wrap my brain around, and the rest I'm just going to be like, wait me when it's over.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with it to the best of my ability, and I feel like I've got vertigo. So
right.
So it kind of, like Susie was saying, it's more important to get the big things right than to have to keep saying, well, this was said, then that got changed, and that got changed, and that got changed, so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, let's also kind of pull the curtain back a little bit on our industry. And I'm not just talking conservative media, just media in general. There is this massive pressure to be the source of everything, and we know everything about everything. We're experts in everything. No, we're not. No, we're not.
Can't be.
I mean, I get paid to read up and know things, which is a luxury that I think a lot of people, don't. They've got to work a real job. And then, and as you have time to read on stuff. But anybody who gets up and looks at a headline and says, well, let me tell you what this means, you don't know half the time. So if I don't know, it would be irresponsible for us to get up here and put that out there as though we're the experts. Now, sometimes I do know what it means.
Yeah.
And I do put that out there. Sometimes I got a strong opinion on it. But media in general, there are exceptions where people do a really nice job, but in general, we're not making it easier for people to keep tabs on everything that goes on and what it means for us in our lives. We may get the opinion on what it means for the different political tribes, but I think media at times of chaos, our industry sometimes lets people down instead of dialing in and saying, we've got a purpose for what we do. We need to do it well.
Kind of to kind of bounce off of that. Yeah. I think there's a couple different things going on. There's so much going on that it's really impossible to keep up with it all. I mean, you could be the straightest straight news wire ever there was, and you can't keep up with it all. It's like not physically possible. But then there's also the impulse to shape narratives or, pick and choose what you're covering because you have even a subconscious agenda, and that can add to the disorientation. So the only way I know how to handle it is to dial in on the stuff that I know I can wrap my brain around, and then just kind of wait and see what happens with the rest of it.
Yeah, and I don't have a full handle on everything we talk about, but that's when I go, okay, tell me, convince me one way or the other. Here's what we know. Here's the part I don't understand. And you just try to say, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
About it.
Conversation?
Yeah.
Wait, you mean exchange ideas?
Right.
Listen to each other? Give thoughts? Mull stuff over?
Right. Weird, I know.
So weird.
Weird, just saying.
So weird.
Okay, 6:41 right now. Let's talk about this. Missouri Supreme Court handed down a few rulings yesterday.
They did.
The big one, at least for a lot of people, is the new congressional map. So they ruled that it stands, and we'll get to it at least for now. But this is as high as it goes as far as questioning whether or not lawmakers had the ability to do this.
Under the Constitution, Missouri Constitution.
And the court ruled, it was 4-3. It was real close.
It was.
They ruled that the Missouri lawmakers and Governor Kehoe have the legal ability to redistrict essentially whenever they want, as long as they do it at least once every 10 years.
The crux of it is this. The Constitution provides for there to be redistricting every 10 years, but there's the majority, the four of them said that's a floor. It's not a ceiling. It just says you must do it this time. It doesn't prohibit the legislature from doing it more than that.
Yeah, they didn't rule that it was a good idea or that they liked the map in particular, one way or the other. They just said, do they have the authority to do that? So most likely this map is going to stand. There is still the question as to whether or not if it would be paused if there are enough signatures confirmed on the referendum to put it up for a vote. That's the only thing I see that's even a small question mark at this point.
There's another one.
What's the other one?
There's another case pending before the Supreme Court now, the one that came out of Jackson County, the one about compactness.
Oh, yeah.
So there's another legal battle being taken up before the Supreme Court. Presumably that's not going to get a ruling till at least next month, if not later.
After filing close ends.
Right. And then the referendum thing won't be resolved till well after filing closes. So I don't know from a practical standpoint how either one of those is going to keep this current
because
map.
the new 5th District is not compact. It literally goes from downtown Kansas City to the News Talk STL listening area here in St. Louis.
Oh, I didn't realize
it goes that far. It's crazy.
Oh, the listening area.
Right, the
Okay.
listening area. Yeah, if you
Which we stretch pretty far west.
Oh yeah, we do. So, but that's
yeah. I mean, that's a pretty
that's
big
how
stretch.
it goes. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
huge stretch. So, but the reality is that at this point, so far Republicans have won pretty much every step of the way, for the most part.
Yeah.
There's a few things on the language on the ballot that they lost on, but for the most part, they've won. Yeah,
exactly.
And then the other one, there were 3 rulings, but the other one has to do with voter ID.
Correct.
And that one, the end result is that Missouri's photo ID law stands. Now, you were saying a little bit ago that that's not necessarily, was that a merits thing or was that a procedural thing?
That was a procedural thing.
Okay, what was that all about?
I haven't dug into that one.
Okay.
So, like we were just talking about, I don't really know, other than what I from skimming, because I was focused in on the one ruling we were just talking about. My understanding is there were people challenging it, but the court said you don't have the standing. Like, you don't have standing to do this. So procedurally, they were turned down, and so it stays in place.
So then somebody else, in theory, could
In theory, somebody
challenge
with
later.
standing could challenge it later.
Yeah, got it.
I don't know that they'd be successful, but
Right.
this one wasn't.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if they would be successful because there have been other cases around the country regarding photo ID, and that just having a photo ID is I haven't heard of too many courts outside of just some uber leftist ones that get overturned that say that getting an ID is a burden or an obstacle or a barrier to voting.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically rulings that for the most part Republicans I think you're going to like. Especially with the map. And then the photo ID, everybody should actually like that. This is not one that Democrats should be upset about. Every Democrat out there should say, of course.
Of course. Yeah. For a country that's getting its butt kicked right now, Iran has some big talk going on. We're going to explain that in the news dump at 6:50.
1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. I say you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. 4, 5, 6.
We don't ever want to have that problem again, not with lunatics. We can't have lunatics controlling.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
If you're going to treat yourself, there's a lot of ways you can do that. But if you're going to treat yourself, do it right. I mean, listen, we've all been in the offices or we've all been in the, reception room somewhere where somebody just goes and gets a box of, say donuts or pastries from some big chain place or God forbid the gas station or something like that. And you know what? Okay, it's sweet, a little dry, the sugar drops off on everything else. Whatever, better than nothing, I guess, right? But how about this? Locally owned Mario's Donuts. Mike Ferguson here from Mario's Donut Restaurant. There is a difference when they make it fresh right here. Check them out on Mugi Road. Just put in Mario's Donut Restaurant. It'll take you right there. The donuts are a cut above. I am telling you, once you have that, you're not going to want to, basically limit your taste buds with some of those big chain dry things that were probably baked 3 or 4 days before. You don't want that. Mario's Donut Restaurant, they are such a big difference. I'm hoping that every time I do the endorsement here for Mario's that I manifest it and Jeff's wife, Teresa, brings it in for us. That's been the pattern. Hopefully we get some of those today. But also Mario's Donut isn't just about donuts. They've got lunch, they've got breakfast food, they've got dinner, coffee. Go and hang out. It's a fun place to hang out right there as well. They can cater that office meeting for you. They can cater that birthday party, but you want to get everything from a breakfast wrap to a tiramisu for dessert after lunch or dinner. MariosDonutRestaurant.com has their entire menu, which, by the way, has just been upgraded. You can get there now. They have finished the road construction right there, so we can all get back to Mario's Donut Restaurant. MariosDonutRestaurant.com on Mugi Road. Tell them Mike thanks them for their awesome donuts.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new app.
And listen anytime, anywhere.
Think you're just getting older? Stiff in the morning, low energy, aches that weren't there 5 years ago? Maybe. Or maybe it's your mattress. At Snooze Mattress and Wellness, we're locally owned and family owned, and we use advanced sleep technology to measure your pressure points and match you to the right mattress for your body. No fake sales, no guessing, no pressure. Just honest guidance and better sleep. Snooze Mattress and Wellness in Chesterfield. Sleep restored, life renewed.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, this is Carl Higbee, host of Frontline on Newsmax TV, and you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
On the Rumble chat box, PMS 3105, just point out, hey, speaking of elections, everybody needs to get out to the local level elections because we've got some school board members we need to, one, reelect, and two, replace in some other areas.
Absolutely.
So I've got in the news dump here in just a couple of minutes that we've got early voting now on the Missouri side, at least, is up and running. So we've got to have a big conservative turnout in these April elections. So especially if you live in like St. Charles County, Francis Howell School District, look for like Francis Howell families if you want to get more information on those races out there, because these are crucial, not just for this year, but for what's going to be set for literally a generation or two to come here. All right, 6:50 right now. Let's see here. Sam Page makes another round of spending cuts. So some of you might want to make different plans for the 4th of July now. And happy opening day to everybody who celebrates such an occasion. It is 6:51. Let's do a little bit of a news dump here.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
They get all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
Okay, we're going to go into more depth on this at 7:05, but St. Louis County Executive Sam Page blaming the county council for another round of budget cuts. That's not new. We've had that before. Among these, though, he is canceling the JB Blast 4th of July event in South County, or at least he's trying to. He's canceling the county funding of it, including the fireworks and all that. And he's announcing 3 county buildings are going to be closed to the public on Fridays starting this week. That doesn't mean they're closed. It just means you can't go access them and take care of whatever business you have with county government.
Which makes no sense.
None.
How is that saving anybody money?
Well, let's ask Mike Archer about that at 7:05.
Okay.
I have a feeling I know what he's going to say. All right. The spokesman for Iran's military command says that its armed forces is going to fight until they achieve complete victory.
The comments by Major General Ali Abdullani Aliabadi of the Katan al-Anbiya Central Headquarters appear related to U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement that there were negotiations ongoing between Tehran and Washington. Iran has denied any talks are taking place, though its foreign minister has been talking to counterparts around the region. Iranian state television quoted Ali Abadi as saying, quote, Iran's powerful armed forces are proud, victorious, and steadfast in defending Iran's integrity, and this path will continue until complete victory. Bernie Bennett reporting.
And the Strait of Hormuz, you're getting, like, for instance, now Iran is wanting to charge like a $2 million safe passage fee. And they say they only want to
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. They are only going to allow non-hostile tankers in. So basically, they're doing anything they can. They're basically the guy on the corner of Lindbergh begging for any of your change that you've got that you can, that's essentially what Iran is right now.
Pretty much. Well, because so much of their leadership has been decapitated, I think there's different factions, and no one really knows for sure who's in charge and who actually has the authority to commit to anything or, make any claims.
Yeah, precisely. And, of course, when it comes to Homeland Security, we now have a new Secretary of Homeland Security. It is official. Former Senator Mark Wayne Mullen is now Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, having been sworn in at the Oval Office. And here's part of his remarks after being sworn in.
No one's going to outwork me, and I'm not going to let any of them outwork me. The president has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. And so thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I noticed a couple of the court cases that are, ongoing involving the Trump administration and involving DHS. They've already substituted his name in for Kristi Noem's name as the named party in the lawsuit. Yeah. So I posted a link to that to my coworkers and said, "Welcome to the party, pal."
Yeah, really. Congratulations, you're being sued.
Exactly. You've been sworn in, now you're being sued.
Yeah. Sworn in, served.
Exactly.
That's how that goes. All right. And, of course, he's dealing with the mess that is the shutdown, or the partial shutdown here as well. And in the Senate, senators are going back and forth with proposals to fund part or all of it, or fund some with reforms, or fund this and not that. That's a stalemate that's been going on. Greg Cluxton has the update.
The plan being discussed would authorize funding for much of the Homeland Security Department, including TSA airport workers who are going without pay. But Congress would withhold funding from ICE and its removal operations, which are at the core of the dispute. Senate leaders from both parties say the two sides are working in a serious way and hopefully headed in the right direction. Greg Clugston, Washington.
You get the feeling, Susie, they're just basically playing chicken right now, looking at these long lines at the airports and playing chicken. Who's going to blink?
Yeah, pretty much. And, here's the ironic thing. ICE is funded.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So that's supposedly the sticking point. It's the rest of DHS that isn't funded, and those are the people who verify this on one of the breaks. Both, it's not just TSA that's not getting paid. It's FEMA, it's Secret Service, it's Coast Guard. They're not getting paid.
Yeah. I mean, they'll eventually get back pay, but explain that to your landlord or your mortgage.
Yeah, but it's been 39 days.
Right. Yeah, explain that to the utilities. Explain that to everybody
I work
else.
for the government. Oh.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. No excuse early voting is now underway on the Missouri side.
Okay.
Yep. That is, of course, for the April elections. Contact your county clerk or your election board if you have any questions. And as it was pointed out on the Rumble chat box, this is one of those where we have such low voter turnout on the April elections that just about anything can get pushed through, which is why they put them on the April elections.
Yep.
And also you need to know, who's running for your council and your alder critters and your mayor and your school boards and everything else.
Well, and here's the thing about April voting. I mean, because it's low turnout, when you go, it doesn't take but about 5 minutes to do it. So you don't have any excuse on your way home from the store, on your way home, but between work and home, it shouldn't take you about 5 or 10 minutes to get it done, and it's important, so do it.
And here's the thing: is when the lower the turnout, the more your vote has an impact.
Higher value vote.
And people get so excited about the presidential race, but listen, I'll just say it: in Missouri and Illinois, your vote doesn't matter that much in the presidential race. The Republicans are going to win Missouri by 10 to 15 points. The Democrats are going to win by 5 to 7 points. The local races, your vote matters a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. All right, the Blues get the win at home. They shut out the Capitals. Final score was 3-0. Up next is going to be another home game. This is going to be on Thursday when the Sharks are in town for this one. And it is opening day for Major League Baseball. No more spring training. The real deal now. All the games count. Yankees and the Giants have the first game of the season. That's going to be tonight at 7:05. And as a sign of the times, the game is on Netflix.
Wow.
Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
Cardinals start the season at home tomorrow against the Rays. That is a 3:15 first pitch at Busch Stadium. And I just saw the weather report. It's going to be like 90 degrees.
It's going to be a toasty opening day.
Yeah, and then it gets chilly again. But it actually, I think there's some rain that might move through. But it should be a pretty nice opening day for all the festivities out there.
It'll be nice and, sunny for part of it at least.
At least part of it, yeah.
And some lobsters returning to work, huh?
Yes, basically.
Make sure you wear your sunscreen.
Basically. And a little bit later on, somebody did the calculations on which are the most and least expensive Major League ballparks to take a family of four to go see.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we were at the most expensive or closer to the most affordable?
Affordable.
Think so?
Think so.
What do you think?
Expensive.
I will answer the question a little bit later on in about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area, and I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way, and right now it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois, so no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. A 15-point U.S. proposal for ending the Iran war has reportedly been delivered to Tehran. Meantime, the fighting goes on. The BBC's James Waterhouse in Jerusalem.
Explosions could be heard in Tehran, and plumes of smoke were rising over buildings as Israel confirmed it had carried out more airstrikes. It's as the United Nations nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, says it's been informed by the Iranians that another missile has hit the site of the Bushehr nuclear power plant, but that no buildings were damaged. Iran is still returning fire. It claims to have launched missiles at Israel, Jordan, Bahrain, and towards Kuwait, where officials say drones hit an oil tank, causing a fire at its international airport.
And the U.S. reportedly set to deploy thousands of paratroopers and Marines to the Middle East. British police have arrested 2 men in connection with an arson attack being investigated as an anti-Semitic hate crime. 4 ambulances belonging to a Jewish medical charity were torched.
The Metropolitan Police say the 2 men, aged 45 and 47, were arrested in London on suspicion of arson with intent to endanger life, and both men have been taken to a police station in the city for questioning.
Correspondent Charles Deladesma. A high-profile conservative gathering in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex kicks off today. CPAC, the annual Conservative Political Action Conference, taking place in Grapevine, Texas. It is another week without pay for tens of thousands of Transportation Security Administration officers. The Homeland Security funding impasse has yet to be resolved in the Senate, as Democrats have yet again refused to fund DHS. There is a Republican proposal that's aimed at ending the standoff. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures up 496 points, NASDAQ futures 286 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
A sacred season is approaching, a time to remember God's deliverance, the night he brought his people out of bondage and into freedom. Of course, I'm talking about Passover. Hi, it's Chris Stigall, and this year many of God's people will observe Passover under the shadow of war. Across Israel, red alert sirens pierce the air, and families are rushing to shelters with seconds to spare. The elderly fear they'll be left behind. Parents hold frightened children as explosions shake the night. Sleepless and uncertainty. That's now part of their daily lives. But Passover reminds us that God hears the cries of his people and answers with love and compassion. That's why the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is on the ground in Israel providing food and emergency supplies, equipping bomb shelters, and caring for the elderly and Holocaust survivors, bringing comfort and safety to God's children. Join Christians around the world in praying for Israel during this sacred Passover season, asking God to bring protection, comfort, and peace to the Holy Land. Visit supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking highs towards that 80-degree mark this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Could see an isolated chance of a shower or two during the evening and overnight hours. Most of the area looking dry into Thursday. A high of 91, going to be looking to break a long-standing record for the afternoon high. Partly sunny by the evening hours. We're going to be tracking some showers and storms with a first alert weather day as a strong to severe storm risk will continue to increase as we head towards the overnight hours until early Friday morning. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
License number GL250000615.
We've seen all kinds of clogs, so remember the rule. Only flush 3 things. Number 1, number 2, and toilet paper.
What about my dinosaurs?
No?
My monster truck?
Nope.
What about...
If it's not the big 3, don't flush it.
But if someone does flush a dinosaur...
Call Grasser. We clear the clog and get things moving again.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
Mike Ferguson.
What is that private pile? Sir, jelly donut, sir. A jelly donut?
Susie Moore.
Mama don't like tattletales.
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, Sam Page says he's calling off the fireworks. He says it is the county council's fault for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Republican, Democrat alike, when you look at the TV coverage of the meeting last night, Republican, Democrat alike, they're basically scratching their heads going, that doesn't make any sense, Sam.
Wow.
So we've got the numbers part of it, and then we've got the actual part of it that's going on. All right, that's Susie, that's Jerome. My name's Mike. We're now joined by St. Louis County Councilman Mike Archer. Mike, I want to get to that in just a minute. Part of the other sets of cutbacks that Sam Page was kind of stomping his feet about yesterday is closing the county, 3 different county offices to the public. And I want to make that distinction. He's not closing them, saying, okay, we're going to save on utilities or people's hours or something like that. The county offices are still going to be operating. The doors are just going to be locked and we can't do it. Here's part of what he told the public at your meeting last night. Here's what he said.
This will allow our Department of Revenue employees to catch up on the backlog. It will allow them to process senior property tax freeze applications, and it will allow them more time to process tax-free refunds. It will help some.
Okay. So we're still paying the people to go to work to do the stuff they're going to be doing anyway, but just Susie and Jerome and me and everybody who's watching and listening, they can't go get county business taken care of on Fridays from here on out. Am I understanding his position correctly?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And when Retta Days mentioned that the constituents are being disenfranchised, I think that was accurate when she said that ultimately the constituents are the ones being hurt because government is a service provider, and we're not providing those services. We're not providing those services at all.
Good morning, Mike. This is Susie.
Hi, Susie.
Hi. Did Dr. Page at all explain how that was going to somehow help save the county money?
No, he did not. And when I started asking him questions, there were fireworks that erupted between the two of us. And I basically said, hey, what is going on here? And then he said, well, I think you don't want to help people, get their property tax freeze, process, so on and so forth. And I said, no, you're deflecting. And we were talking about the JB Blast.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how this is going to help, especially when the people can't come in and tell us their problems in the first place. So how are we going to process that if we don't have the constituents in and doing that, doing the information that we need, giving us the information that we need? So it just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. And he is, like I said, he's acting like a petulant child. And Mike, you're exactly right when you said he's stamping his feet because he didn't get his way with the budget. And this is just a temper tantrum. And unfortunately, the citizens of St. Louis County are paying the price.
Okay, so what are the things that we will not be able to do on Fridays at this point? Are we talking like marriage licenses, permits for construction, permits to renovate your house? What are the things that you can now only do 4 days a week as opposed to 5 days a week with no clear savings in the budget being able to be shown?
Mike, I think you hit the nail on the head. There's no clear direction in terms of what's going to be affected, how it's going to be affected, or what services. I think he just made a blanket across the board edict that we're going to be seeing constituents on Friday. Sometimes, because of schedules, that's somebody's day off. And if they have to take off, they lose pay. So I don't think he has that in mind for the constituents. I don't think he has the constituents' interest at heart. So, Mike, we really don't know what is going to happen. So we can just assume that that's going to be across the board, that you can't get a marriage license, you can't get a permit, you can't do anything at all in terms of county business.
Mike, I know that the one of the issues, and you've alluded to it already, is the cancellation of the JB Blast. Are there other similar events in St. Louis County that are also being, threatened to be called off, or is it just that one?
Well, right now it's just that one. And what I was questioning him about was the fact of that a couple of years ago, before I got on the council, that went out for bids, and private sponsors such as River City Casino, First Community Credit Union contributed. Actually, River City Casino purchased the fireworks last year. And it was brought out, we've got the numbers. It was brought out that St. Louis County paid $2,600 last year for the JB Blast, because there were all these contributors such as River City Casino, First Community Credit Union that came in and funded that. And obviously they got to put their logos up, their sponsorships were advertised. So it really didn't cost the county anything other than us using the ground. So that was what I was questioning him on.
Yeah, we're visiting with County Councilman Mike Archer. Of course, this is in your district here as well, because his statement was it only cost $50,000, but it's $50,000 we don't have. And in a normal circumstance, I said this a little bit earlier, that when the county is tens of thousands of dollars in the red because of overspending, any amount of cutbacks, if it's not necessary, okay, that makes sense. But what I'm hearing you say is that's not a $50,000 expenditure. It's $2,600. And if you could cover, every bit other than $2,600, there's probably somebody who can pick up the other $2,600. So essentially, Sam Page is saying we're going to cancel the party that we weren't paying for in the first place.
Right. And Mike Shocker of Shockers, Sam Page is lying. So, yes, I hope everybody is sitting down and hearing that. But, yeah, he's not telling the truth. So yeah. And it's just and it's really interesting, the fact of that it gets cut in Mark Harder's district and my district, other, the two government centers are located in Harder's district and my district, and those got cut. Nothing in Lisa Clancy's district is being cut. So that just shows you how arbitrary and capricious this is. It's just completely, Sam Page's temper tantrum.
Okay, so is it possible that because the outlay of the government was only $2,600 and everything else was covered by sponsors, is it possible that the JB Blast could actually still happen if enough money is raised despite Sam Page's announcement, or does he have the authority to say we're not going to do this?
Yes and no, and Mike, it's interesting because last night, yesterday was one of our once a month 3:00 meetings. Last night, I was getting phone calls saying, "Hey, look, I think we can sponsor something at the JB Blast if you want to go with it privately." and do that. And I'm like, I'm all for that. So, and then we were kind of laughing about the question of, then we got to get a park permit. Do you think that Sam Page is going to allow us to get a park permit?
Not on Friday.
Well, not on Friday. You're not. No.
Yeah, well, yeah, not on Friday, but we might be able to work something out. But just him denying us a permit altogether for safety reasons, whatever. I could see that happening, and that would be another fight. But as you know, I'm not hesitant to wade into the fight here. So that's what I'm kind of going to be working on in terms of, can we do this privately? And we were kind of laughing about, well, maybe my backyard, but whatever.
Yes, in your backyard. Mike,
party at Mike's.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's been a new ethics issue raised regarding Dr. Page, literally Dr. Page. There's some issues involving him possibly working when he's not supposed to be working at his anesthesiology job. Tell us a little bit more about that ethics complaint.
Well, what happened was that I got the MEC complaint from a young lady where she alleged 48 instances of him practicing medicine. Now then, it's important because April 5th, 2022 was when the St. Louis County voters passed the new charter amendment saying you don't spend any time, you devote all of your time being the county executive, and you cannot get any money, independent contractor-wise, so on and so forth, from any other source. Well, April 7th is when he started, April 7th of 2022 is when he decided to go ahead and start back with his anesthesiology practice. And so we've got 48 documented instances where claims for Medicare, Medicaid under his medical license number were submitted. And so we had an ethics committee on Monday, and then the full council last night, right there with Sam Page sitting there, voted to have subpoenas go out to Department of Social Services because of those claims, Medicaid, Western Anesthesiology, and then to the person that authored the MEC report. So we're expecting to get, and I don't, Susie, you and I can kind of geek out over the lawyer stuff, but it's one of those. We don't have a return on the subpoenas yet, and we're going to set up another ethics committee to have the return on the subpoenas, which I would suspect is going to be within 30 days. So the subpoenas are going out. Sam Page is saying that he's volunteering, and I'm saying that's a distinction without a difference. The example that I always give is Sam Page is in the surgical suite. We've got a patient we got the patient opened up. We have an emergency somewhere in St. Louis County that demands that the county executive, declare a state of emergency. He's out of pocket. And during the ethics committee, I asked Chairwoman Days and I asked Shalonda Webb that if the powers had ever devolved to them, because they are the next in line in terms of succession. They take over if Sam Page is unavailable. And obviously they said that had never happened. So St. Louis County is basically really vulnerable when he's in a surgical suite if we have a state of emergency. So that's kind of what's going on with that.
And I've just got a minute or so left, Mike, but also it seems to me when I was reading the actual charter, because this was actually in the charter before, and the 2022 vote was basically reinforcing it and voters saying, no, Sam, we actually mean this. I mean, it reinforced what was already in the charter. There's also an element of making sure there's not a conflict of interest with the executive, given the pretty strong, executive form of government that the county generally has on paper. But the other aspect of that is with the medical license, and I'm reading the MEC report this morning on this, is that if it's billed to Medicaid, if it's billed to whatever, somebody was paid for something at that point, and unless somebody is paying Sam Page's, medical insurance, that sort of thing, it stands to reason that he got paid for the things that his medical license was included on those. I mean, is it feasible that he did all this stuff and didn't get paid? But it just seems like from what I'm reading that it's documentation that there was billing for what he did.
Yes. And, I don't think it's feasible, Mike, that he didn't get paid. because you just mentioned the malpractice insurance that the anesthesiologist has to carry. And quite truthfully, say you're going in for a surgery, would you want your anesthesiologist to be there on a volunteer basis? It just doesn't make any sense. It just, when you're going under, it's like, oh, by the way, I'm volunteer. I may have to leave here. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And like you pointed out, if there's a claim, there's going to be a payment. And we don't have 48 instances of claims and no payments. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And that's what we're trying to get into. And that's what he's saying, that I'm volunteering and helping the good citizens of St. Louis County. Well, if you do your job, maybe you could help the citizens more. So that's just kind of my take on it.
All right, County Councilman Mike Archer, of course, then we're going to have to revisit this when you get all the information back, because this is a potential lose your elected position kind of situation if it shows to be, what a lot of people say it is. So, Mike, really appreciate the update. Thanks so much, and let me know when what I need to bring to the party in your backyard.
Oh, hey, that sounds good. We got the bean bags. We're ready to go, man.
Great. Let's do it.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, good. Hey, talk to you later.
Something that might come as a shock to you. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says something cold-hearted and stupid.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We'll talk about that coming up next.
Don't try to make me stop. No inspiration. You have a soul so dark it is no more.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I like it, but they're going a little overboard with the dancing.
On News Talk STL.
Susie Moore here to talk to you about windows. Window World windows are one of only 2 replacement windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, and they're ranked number 1 in the country for a number of windows sold by Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and thermal efficiency of more than 80,000 homes in St. Louis. And the St. Louis location has been owned, operated, and managed by born and raised St. Louis residents for more than 23 years. Window World products are durable, secure, energy efficient, and beautiful, and they use a double-strength glass not commonly used in replacement windows. Plus, with Window World windows, you get a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, breakage, and labor. Window World can also help with siding and doors, and their customer service department is available 7 days a week, which is something most of their competitors cannot say. In fact, over half of their appointments come from repeat customers or referrals, which says a lot about their commitment to customer service. So right now, you want to get in touch with Window World. They're offering 36 months same as cash financing with approved credit. You can call for a free in-home estimate. It's 1-800-GET-WINDOWS or visit windowworldstlouis.com.
Colombo and Company.
The second half of the 2026 Missouri legislative session got underway this week. We'll get an update Wednesday with our Missouri political insider Rodney Boyd, plus Danny Define and Closest Cabin.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
Female millennial Trump supporter. I listen to it every day. Seriously, you get it.
News Talk STL.
I'm Congressman Bob Onder, and you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
That one's at least a 7 on the Susie dance scale.
She is grooving.
Gorillas?
The Gorillas, yeah, that's right.
Demon Days album, fantastic album.
Yeah. All right, I want to follow up with the discussion that we had with Stacey Matthews, a.k.a. Sister Told You, on yesterday's program from Red State. J.B. Pritzker kind of burps up a word salad when he was asked about the murder of a college student by an illegal alien. And regardless of where you are on the discussion over like immigration and reform and all that sort of thing, J.B. Pritzker got cornered and he couldn't talk his way out of it. And the thing is, had he just said, well, I disagree with policies and not done his virtue signaling, he'd have some room to be able to say something like, something.
He doesn't know how to do that.
He doesn't know how to do that. No. By the way, Susie and I on Friday, we're going to be at Whistle Pig Outdoors in Troy. So we're doing the show from Whistle Pig. So come on out, say hi. Hunting season for you outdoorsmen and outdoors women and hunters and huntresses. They're going to be your hookup anyway for the good stuff. So we're going to be out there. We're just doing a normal show out there, but we are going to be there 5:30 to 9. So come on out, kind of on the main drag in Troy. Come say hi, pick up some stuff.
Yeah.
Bring me coffee.
All kinds of good reasons.
All kinds of good reasons to come out there. It is 7:25 right now. Okay, so we talked to Stacey yesterday. If you want to see that or hear that conversation, just go to the podcast, and you can find that. But J.B. Pritzker, and I would say leftist, but there are people on the far right too, like the libertarians as well, who still don't accept that the open borders flooding the country with people coming in the country illegally is dangerous. Now, listen, I'm a pro-legal immigration guy. Okay, it's like Professor Mike Munger from Duke has said many times. I believe in a tall wall and a wide door.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Not everybody agrees with me on that. Legal immigration is a net positive for the country in a lot of different ways. Illegal immigration isn't.
The drain.
And so, like, for instance, you know that guy from the Cato Institute that got into it with John Kennedy a week or so ago?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, so he basically, and it's funny because they're spending now a lot of money on, like, reels on Facebook and Twitter and all of that, arguing their case. Because I'm pretty sure that's the guy I ran into when I used to do, like, consulting and stuff for academic institutions and think tanks and things like that. I was out at, where were we? I'm going to say like Utah State University or something like that. And I was out there doing my presentation, and he was giving one. I'm almost positive it was the same guy. And, he's talking about basically why we need to just eliminate all borders, basically. And he's making the case for this. And some people there, were on board, and other people like, really, dude? You can't be welcoming without having them wipe their shoes at the door, something.
Right.
And so John Kennedy just called him out, and they really got into it. And so now the Cato Institute is pushing really, really, really hard to sell their case for like complete open borders. And I'm like, guys, have you not been watching the news?
Yeah.
I mean, have you not been? This is like an 80-20 issue with people. Even people, who are saying, no, we should be welcoming. There are reasons to do humanitarian refugee. There are reasons to do it. Even they were saying, but there's got to be a limit if you want to have some kind of sovereignty and national security and all that kind of stuff. Well, J.B. Pritzker gets asked about this, and here is what he actually responded with. It was so bizarre.
I agree. There have been real failures. Those failures, of course, extend beyond the borders of Illinois. That's their national failures, a failure to have comprehensive immigration reform, a failure of the president to follow his own edict to go after the worst of the worst.
Huh? What?
Huh.
I mean, we're going to process that for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just because Trump.
Yeah, and I don't understand how something that is, generally speaking, the basic concept is literally a 75, 80, 85% consensus. And then some of the fringe parts of the country want to make this the hill they're still going to die on.
Well,
and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay. So there's two different possibilities. You know, one is that they're just so dug in and ideologically in love with the idea of open borders and no, minimal restrictions on immigration that they just can't give it up. But the other, the more cynical one, is that they believe that that is their path to holding on to and or, acquiring power. So, there's really not a third option there. And the ideological aspect of it can be just, straight opposition to Trump and Republicans, too. I think that drives a lot of it. But it's either just all about, feeling without thinking, or it's thinking, how do I hold on to power? Here's the most, the easiest way for me to do so. So I'm just going to fight for that tooth and nail.
Just there are some things that shouldn't be tribal.
There's a lot of things.
A lot of things that just should not be tribal.
Welcome to 2026.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's because I've got my strong opinions on it, and almost everybody on the left isn't going to like it, and some people on the right aren't going to like it. But that's my take. But some things just shouldn't be the default position. Is what does the tribal chief say? And that's what I'm going with, which we frankly see all over the place right now.
Yeah, it's not, and no one has the monopoly on that.
Right. Yeah. All right. You okay over there?
I apologize. If I haven't complained enough already, let me just put on record, I hate allergies, especially in the St. Louis area. They especially suck around here. So it's 7:35. Hopefully we can get somebody on here that can help us get the information we need to get through the season a little bit easier.
I found one.
Yes.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
A cross between Socrates and Dirty Harry.
On Newstalk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking highs towards that 80-degree mark this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Could see an isolated chance of a shower or two during the evening and overnight hours. Most of the area looking dry into Thursday. A high of 91. Going to be looking to break a long-standing record for the afternoon high. Partly sunny. By the evening hours, we're going to be tracking some showers and storms with a first alert weather day as the strong to severe storm risk will continue to increase as we head towards the overnight hours until early Friday morning. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch.
Your business moves fast. PRI Global keeps it moving smarter for almost 30 years, delivering top tech talent to help companies grow stronger, custom applications, simplifying your operations, securing your data, modernizing your business from the cloud up. And with Prismatic, you're going to get real-time insights, automated workflows, people, process, platform. PRI Global delivers all three. PRIGlobal.com.
Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on NewsTalk STL.
Remember in early high school, maybe even grade school, when you had a special health class? All the boys went to one class, all the girls went to another. Yes, we were learning about the birds and the bees, and that storks did not deliver babies. Well, nowadays, what are we teaching our children? What age is too soon, too late? South Dakota just became the 7th state requiring prenatal education in public school health classes. Students will be taught how a baby is created and born. Nowadays, with internet searches, kids could get this online, but they might also be pulled into something more sinister than the beauty of life. They might be pulled into child pornography. Live Action is a national pro-life group which lobbied for that law in South Dakota and for other states. And they're getting a lot of support, they say, from parents and physicians. These are animated videos, and you can watch the videos at liveaction.org. Liveaction.org from liveaction.org.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Kathy Connor from Connor Roofing is here. Kathy, how you doing?
Good. Hi, Vic.
You know, when you need a roof, I don't want to call a stranger. I want to call you.
Yeah, thanks. At Connor Roofing, we're more than just a roofing company.
How long you been doing it?
Since 1993.
And year after year, storm after storm, you guys are always there.
Because this is our home, too, Vic. Our kids go to school with your kids. We cheer for the same teams. Go Blues!
So support your neighbors. Call Connor Roofing at 314-375-7475 or CONNER roofing.com.
Thanks, Vic.
Cardinal Nation, it's time to paint the town red.
Opening day of Cardinal baseball at Busch Stadium.
And there's nothing else like it.
It's a St. Louis tradition.
Two things define St. Louis: Cardinal baseball and News Talk STL.
Play ball!
Cardinal baseball opening day, March 26th, backed by our hometown favorites, Best Buy Flooring, Gemini Wealth Management, and Whistle Pig Outdoors.
Cardinal baseball!
Don't let spring surprises ruin your comfort. Johnson Heating and Cooling in Wentzville is offering air conditioner checkups for just $99. We'll check your Freon, inspect your condensate hose, and test all electrical connections. Plus, we'll clean your system for no additional charge if you act before June 30th. Keep your home running smoothly this season. Visit johnson-heatingandcooling.com. That's johnson-heatingandcooling.com. Johnson Heating and Cooling. Your comfort, our priority.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Just the convenience on the phone.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app.
And listen anytime.
Everywhere.
Anywhere.
No buffalo bison is safe if Mike Ferguson is around. Mike Ferguson Show in the morning. Larry Connors USA at 6.
Just restocked on my bison the other day, actually. I was up at the nutrition stop. Okay, yes, we really do live in one of the worst areas when it comes to allergies. And I mean, I knew when I first moved here, and before that, I was doing business here for years. I used to do, this is a weird story, Susie, but I got some of the scoop on this. I was doing a health-related interview on my old TV show, Missouri Viewpoints, back in the day. And I had some doctor of whatever she mentioned, she goes, oh, yeah, St. Louis is one of the worst for allergies in the entire country. And that is because of the way the river's confluence happens and extra mold and allergens and all of that, but there's actually a topographical reason for that. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. We're not just a bunch of wimps. No, there really is. We're getting assaulted more than most people are, unfortunately. And the thing is, it's not just annoying. It actually can take a toll on your health and take a toll on your body. And so Ryan Mustone from my friends at Nutrition Stop, you just posted on this on Facebook the other day, and you and I were talking about it in the store the other day as well. Let's start with the whole thing where it's not just annoying because you got a runny nose or you sneeze or you cough for a little bit. This will take a toll on your body if you're not ready and help fight it off.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll just create excessive inflammation in the body.
Yeah. And so then the question is, what do we do about it? Because a lot of people just say, well, I just got to wait till it hits and then I'm going to go buy an antihistamine at the Costco or drugstore or CVS or whatever the case is. But you and I were talking, you were mentioning this is an immune response. What does that mean?
Well, there are these cells in the body, white blood cells. They are called mast cells. They are responsible for shooting out histamine if we have any pollen come in, pet dander come in, any kind of foreign debris the body terms as an allergen. The mast cells will shoot out histamine response to create vasodilation to help try to get rid of that bad stuff out of the body.
So Ryan, when people think about it in terms of histamines, I mean that's a term that we hear like antihistamine, and you think about it in terms of medicine or how you treat that. But it sounds to me like you're aiming at a kind of proactive response, and then that gets ahead of that.
Absolutely, yeah. There are ways to get ahead of it and mitigate it. There's natural remedies. Quercetin has been popular over the past few years since the thing that happened a few years ago. Quercetin, rutin, different bioflavonoids can actually strengthen mast cells. So when an allergen comes around, it doesn't, quote, pop it and release histamine. That'll help reduce cytokine storms happening in the body and just keep the body in check so it can combat more allergens, et cetera.
So basically we're talking about making, I guess, a part of that would be an immune system, but another part of it would just be the body dealing with invaders, which are all this pollen and mold, and that's all this is. So we're talking about basically strengthening that part of the body. And you can do that through what? Nutrition, through supplementation? I mean, you don't...
Diet, certainly. Again, quercetin's outstanding. It's a bioflavonoid. It's in a lot of different citrus foods. It's a supplement you can take on its own. Reducing the amount of sugar. I'm always coming in here and bad-mouthing sugar. Sugar is a big culprit to produce inflammation and really just destroys your innate immune response. It slows it down, makes it very sluggish. Cleaning your diet up is really, really big, too. The liver is filtering everything. If it's bogged down from the junk we're eating, from breathing in toxic air, it's all filtering through the liver, so the liver can only do so much. So if there's a backup of histamine in the body, it's going to slow down the ability to get rid of all of those allergens out.
So for somebody who is, interested in being more proactive and taking a more, nutrition-based response to their health, but is not really sure where to start or kind of overwhelmed when they start hearing all this stuff, what do you recommend? Like just like beginner's nutrition stop kind of approach?
You could, as simple as starting your day with a freshly squeezed lemon. That's going to give your body some vitamin C to keep collagen structure strong, keep your immune system strong. It's going to have some quercetin and different bioflavonoids. Quercetin is a bioflavonoid. It's a cousin of vitamin C. You can take nettle. Nettle's an excellent antihistamine. It's rich in different minerals, so then you're also feeding your body nutrients with the nettle. But I'd say if you know you're one of those people that are allergy sensitive, definitely 2, 3, 4 weeks out, start bumping your quercetin. That'll really build those mast cells, so when the allergens come through, they don't pop and you become a leaky faucet.
Yeah, we're visiting with Ryan Mustone from Nutrition Stop, and of course you hear me brag about them all the time here. Okay, do some myth busting real quick before we go on something else.
We'll see.
You hear people talk about, okay, if you're going to go get honey, get the local honey because that's better for like your allergies and helps your body adapt to it. Myth, or is that a myth, or is there something to that?
There is something to it. It's definitely not an overnight. It's something you're not going to take and the next day it's going to work. It's something the local honey is going to have natural pollens in it, and that'll just give your body like a subtle, like homeopathic dose of those pollens every day, so it recognizes it. It's not like a foreign invader, and it'll be a little bit softer when like a big inundation of it comes.
Yeah, then which actually I buy my honey from you guys. Yeah. And the thing is, like, even a little one, it lasts forever with honey.
Yeah. And we have really good local honey. Actually, our beekeeper works with us at the store.
Oh,
nice.
That is good. So, okay, there's different kinds of allergies, or at least different kinds of allergic responses. Some people get like, the sinusy stuff, the noses and the sneezes and all that stuff. But then some people, but some people have like skin reactions, like, I don't know, the contact dermatitis type stuff or hives. Are there different nutrients that address those different manifestations?
It's all It's all a histamine response.
Okay.
I'm going to repeat myself again. Quercetin is going to be one of the best ones. Rutin's going to be a good one. Nettle's going to be an outstanding option too.
Okay, so when it comes to, I guess, getting out ahead of these things, and this isn't even just about the allergies, because we got a few minutes left here. Obviously, spring is here now officially. We're thinking of getting outside the summer, going to the pool. People a lot of times are going, oh, that New Year's resolution to get in shape. Maybe I need to get back to that. What are some of the basics for people to go from point A right now to get to the next step? First of all, you want to look better, but actually getting healthier, because that's what I talk about a lot when I'm talking about you all on the air, is that, I've had a number of compliments on how my physical appearance has changed. But the reality is that I don't have anywhere near the inflammation that I used to have. I don't have anywhere near my muscles recover faster after ball games and workouts and things like that. So there's a far more holistic approach since I've been working with you all.
Yeah, absolutely. Simple. Start simple. water is very key. Start your day with a huge glass of water. That'll flush out any impurities. If you want to go a little bit further, add a freshly squeezed lemon to it. That'll flush out and help the liver process and eliminate toxins and that built-up histamine that's in the body. Sugar, really try to reduce your sugar. If you're going to have sugar, make sure you've already eaten for the day. You can maybe have it a little bit later in the day, but the first thing, down the hatch as far as food goes, in my mind, should be protein. Those are building blocks. Protein is built up of different amino acids. The body breaks those down and creates structure in the body. So it's very, very key to get protein in the morning.
So I know right now that a lot of people personally that they are the instant gratification, meaning if something does not work immediately, then it must be all junk and bogus.
Yeah.
Especially with us coming out of the seasonal affective disorder season with the cold and everything. Is there a grace period that we should allow if we start to eat better and do a little bit more before we actually start to feel or notice the benefits of doing it?
It could take a few weeks. Start simple, start small. Start with breakfast as your biggest change of the day. Set the tone right. Start getting your quercetin in if you know you're that person that's having allergy issues. Really start building your mast cells so then when the allergens come, you're not a leaky faucet.
And when you make those changes, your body for a little while is going to be mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's like, hey, what the heck? Where are my
Where's my candy?
Where's my Fruit Loops? Your body's going to do that for a little bit. You got to kind of power through that. But
Kind of like a petulant kid.
Right, petulant kid. And so here's the thing, though. It's funny though, is that after now of years of doing it better, I'm not going to say completely right because there's always room for improvement. Now the junk doesn't appeal to me. And if I get like, for instance, when I was in Puerto Rico, there was one game, late game, we're going back, nothing was open. All we could find was a Burger King. 2 bites, man, I hated it.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to be. And I drive by McDonald's, I'm like, I used to eat that stuff.
Yeah.
And so once your body gets used to it, you actually crave the healthier stuff.
That's very, very true. Yeah.
We have a comment question. What do you suggest for people that have chronic itchy eyes or just itchy eyes during this time of year in general?
Which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Reduce sugar, increase your fluid intake to flush it out. You can maybe add a little bit of milk thistle in just to help your liver process and regenerate. But vitamin C, quercetin, nettle, those will really help and go a long way. It's going to take a little bit for the body to build it up. It's not a drug, so it doesn't work instantly. You will get some symptomatic relief, but the longer you take it, over duration of weeks, you'll really see a strong response.
Okay, so does that mean if somebody's got allergies that they're going to need to buy like 10 bottles of different vitamins and supplements in it? I mean, is there a more simple, direct way to get started on this? Because I see some people go so overboard, and that's what I like with I go there. I'm like, here's the thing, and this is what I do with you and with Barbara, with Laura, with everybody you've got there. I'm like, okay, here's what's going on, and then it's always a fairly simple, direct thing, because I know other people who will go to the store in the mall or the strip mall or whatever, and they'll be told, we got to take this, and then, here's a $500 price tag for, 10 different bottles of whatever.
There's a range of options you can explore, from $15 up to $50, $60 or so. If you want to have your key defenses, you're going to, you might need to spend a little bit more to really have all the tools under the tool belt. But it does make a big difference. At Nutrition Stop, we've got a really great curated set. We don't have an enormous, huge set, but what we have works, and we've got a track record on it that works, and we've got really good ideas.
And is it today you've got somebody from Ancient Nutrition out?
Yeah,
Is that today?
Ancient Nutrition will be in-house from 12 to 3 today, demoing out different products, and they'll be giving out free shaker cups with purchase today, too.
Is it the one that I've got?
They're really great. They're better. They're exquisite shaker cups.
Seriously, the best shaker cups I've ever seen. It's really kind of a weird thing under the app. And Ancient Nutrition is actually what I use. That's my morning. You mentioned the protein. That's my morning shake, and then that's my post-workout shake is the Ancient Nutrition that I get from you all.
Yeah, they're great. Regenerative agriculture. Their farms are fairly local. They've got farms in southern Missouri and Tennessee. It's all regenerative agriculture. They've got really good grass-fed A2 dairy whey, collagen, bone broth, greens powders, multivitamins, organs.
I didn't know they had local stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I just know that it's been working for me. I mean, it is.
That's the key.
Yeah, it is. So 12 to what again?
12 to 3.
12 to 3 out at the shop
out
in
at
person.
Nutrition Stop in St. Peter's at Cave Springs.
Yeah, so just off the Cave Springs I-70 exit, right there on Mexico Road.
Yep.
Right there it is. All right, nutritionstop.com, and just go out. And seriously, I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I get my protein from you. I'll get my bison. I get my veggies from you. I get my vitamins and all that sort of thing. Stuff you're going to get somewhere. I get it from you all. But what I value most is like coming in, and I'm always pestering them with questions. I'm surprised that they haven't thrown something at me yet because I'm always pestering them with questions. But I get the information. That's what I like.
It's working.
Yeah, we've got a really good team.
Very good team. Very good. Ryan, man, good seeing you. Thanks so much.
Good seeing you. Thank you.
You know, we haven't talked about it yet, but it's Bump Day.
Bump Day!
Which means it's also your reminder to get your request for Flashback Friday bump music into Jerome. Jerome at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
We Democrats know so much. That is true. And we have to kind of tell everybody how smart we are.
On News Talk STL.
When the storm hits and a tree comes down, you need someone you can trust right now. OLI Outdoor Services in Godfrey is on call 24/7 for emergency tree removal, trimming, stump grinding, and land clearing. Serving Illinois and Missouri with licensed, insured professionals and over 200 years of combined experience. Tree removal starting at just $2.99. Free estimates, plus financing. Visit OLIOutdoorServices.com or call 1-888-5-SAWING.
JC's Wayback Machine.
This week we recognize the 43rd anniversary of the release of the ZZ Top Eliminator album, along with a surprising St. Louis connection. Plus my review of the new Ryan Gosling movie, Project Hail Mary. And our A-list interview is with Phil Collins, who tells the backstory of the naming of his album, No Jacket Required. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9. On News Talk STL.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At U.S. Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With U.S. Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
U.S. Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With U.S. Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose U.S. Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. U.S. Med. Better service, better care. 800-515-2380. 800-515-2380. 800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380.
Good morning, Missouri. It's your boy, Joe Pags. I'll talk to you tonight at 10. But right now, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Man, there's quite the nutrition discussion going on. Rumble chat box. There's a lot going on there.
I could really get into that.
I was mentioning, the older I get and the more success I'm having, the more I am convinced that the nutrition and holistic thing, there's absolutely more to that than I ever gave it credit for.
This is why Maha really caught on.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
I feel healthier just listening to that conversation. To be honest.
Okay, so let's do a 180 here a little bit. No, so if you're gonna like eat the wrong stuff, but you're gonna do it at the ballpark, what's your favorite treat at the ballpark? What are you gonna get? Because opening day is tomorrow. A lot of people are gonna be there. I think fans are gonna start coming back to Busch Stadium. I think they see the Cardinals are actually trying now. I don't think the Cardinals are gonna be very good this year, but I think that they're gonna be trying. So I think fans are gonna come back this year.
To me, there's nothing better than a well-prepared and like kind of crispy ballpark hot dog.
There you go. Okay. What do you think, Jerome?
I like pretzels.
Oh, yeah. I'm more of a nachos kind of guy. But I do like those just with the jalapenos on it and the cheese on it.
It's the plastic cheese that kind of gets to me.
Oh,
like,
I'm not claiming that it's a good thing that I'm eating.
I love nachos,
yeah.
But
at the ballpark.
I know.
And like the more stuff you throw on it, like the beef and
if
everything.
you sit next to me with nachos, I'm going to be stealing
some.
I'm not like opposed to them. It's just that's
not your favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
No, the plastic cheese is like probably one of the best parts of those nachos. It's terrible for you.
But when you make them with real cheese, you get kind of spoiled by that. Then when you the plastic cheese is
are
kind
you
of a
one of
step
those
down.
you grate the cheese on your nachos for the freshness, and then you
Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe.
Just saying. Okay, so I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I want to answer the question that I teased a little bit
Oh, that's
earlier.
right.
As far as, do you think is Busch Stadium in St. Louis on the more affordable side of Major League Baseball stadiums or on the more expensive side? So
I went with affordable.
Yeah, you said affordable, and Jerome thought probably expensive.
Mhm.
So everybody, you put your guesses in. I'm going to answer the question here in just a minute. But how about this? Is this a good idea? Several MLB stadiums now are marketing something called the 999 Challenge during a game.
What the heck is that?
Okay.
Wait, does it have to do with Herman Cain?
It does not have to do with Herman Cain, but great reference on that. Appreciate that. Okay, so they're challenging somebody to basically buy the challenge, consume 9 hot dogs and 9 beers over 9 innings of baseball.
Couldn't do it if you paid me.
Does that seem like a good idea? Now, to be clear, the beers are flight sized, so they're not like the full 12 or 16 or whatever ounces. So a flight's going to be, probably what,
I'm going
6
to leave that
6
to Joey
ounces.
Chestnut. It is not my no.
And Joey Chestnut apparently was like involved in creating this thing, just so you know.
It sounds like a ploy just to sell more stuff. I can do the beers, no problem. It's the rest of that stuff that probably will not agree with me.
I could not do 9 beers.
Well, not unless you were going to carry me out on a stretcher.
I won't drink 9 beers in 2 months. I mean, that's
right.
Mama didn't raise a quitter, okay?
I'm just saying. I saw that and I'm like, oh, that can't be right. And I looked at the link and it's literally to MLB.com. I mean, so I put it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I put it in your show sheet. Now, believe me, I have seen guys knock down 9 beers in a game.
666. I understand why they wouldn't want to go with that, but maybe 333 because 9 hot dogs. I'm set aside the beer. 9 hot dogs,
and it's a big box, and they've got the 9 hot dogs, and then the 9. It's on the link I sent you. It's I mean, probably, I don't know, 5-6 ounce beers. I'm going to guess that would be the flight size on it.
777 would make more sense because 7th inning stretch, so that way you can wobble around and kind of sober up a little
and
bit.
they generally stop selling beer after the 7th inning or so anyway, or any alcohol after the 7th inning or so.
No, I mean, I don't know any normal. It's okay, Jerome, you're a big guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I have faith that you could do this. I don't know, I could not. I literally physically could not do this. I would be passed out from the beer or throwing up from the hot dogs. That I couldn't do it if I wanted to. I don't want to.
Right. Now, see, the thing is,
not with that attitude, you can't.
Right? But I mean, I how big is this going to be? Are there?
I mean, they're full size hot dogs.
No. I mean, how big? How popular is this going to be?
Okay, so this is being marketed. The teams that have bought into this, because there's 6 of them, I think. Yeah, 6 of them. Let's see here. Citi Field, which was the New York Mets. Citizens Bank Park. I forgot which one that one is. Coors Field, which is the Colorado Rockies. Dakin Park, I'm not sure which one that one is. Kauffman Stadium, which is Kansas City, and Oracle Park. So these are all the stadiums that they're doing this 999 challenge in 2026. And of course, the Cardinals, we just had the folks in from the Cardinals saying that what they're doing is in certain sections you can pay up front and get an all you can eat with some basic stadium snack foods and soft drinks and things like that. And so for a family, that makes.
So what do you get if you rise to the challenge?
That's a really good. I mean, is it just bragging rights and hopefully an Uber? I mean, back to because I don't want even with the flight size, I don't want you driving anywhere after 9 of those things.
You might need an Uber to the hospital.
Yeah, really. Let's see here, and no, there's nothing that says it's just a challenge. Either you make it or you don't. You don't get a medal or anything like that.
Okay, there's so many other things I would like to have bragging rights on. This is not
that's
it.
Not one
I
of
don't
them.
think this would be like when I find this moment.
Okay, so every year somebody goes and puts together a list who are the most affordable and least affordable Major League Baseball stadiums. And here's what they did this year. They took the average cost of an MLB game for a family of 4, and that is the cost of 4 tickets, 1 parking lot pass, 2 16-ounce beers, 2 20-ounce soft drinks, and 4 hot dogs.
Okay.
So basically 2 adults, 2 kids. That's what they're averaging out. The average cost across the board for one family, $225.90.
Wow.
Okay, so the Cardinals are the third most affordable in Major League Baseball at $165. The most expensive, Los Angeles Dodgers, a family of four, that's going to run you $413 for one game.
No thanks.
This year, America turns 250, and NewsTalkSTL is celebrating our nation's semi-quincentennial all year long. NewsTalkSTL, #1 for live and local Soros-free talk, with proud supporters of our 250th birthday celebration. Freddy's Market, Iron Bear Customs, and STL Windows and Doors. 250 years strong, and we're just getting started. 101.9 and 94.1 NewsTalkSTL.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Apparently, there are behind-the-scenes efforts to bring the Iran war to a close, even as hostilities continue, and there are plans for additional U.S. troop deployments to the Mideast.
Source tells AP intermediaries from Pakistan have submitted a 15-point U.S. ceasefire plan to Iran. The person who was briefed on the plan's outline says Israeli officials were taken by surprise. They've been advocating for President Trump to continue the war. The proposal comes as the U.S. military prepares to deploy 1,000 troops from the 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East to supplement some 50,000 troops already there. A pair of Marine Expeditionary Units that will add about 5,000 Marines and thousands of sailors are also being sent. The source says those steps are being framed as Trump maneuvering to give himself max flexibility on his next move. I'm Ben Thomas.
Imagine going without a paycheck for more than a month. That's a reality for TSA officers like Taylor Desert.
I never thought I would be in a position to where working for the federal government that I would need to go to a food bank to supplement my groceries because I do work a full-time job.
The Homeland Security funding impasse in the Senate is keeping airport screeners from getting paid, and Democrats have again refused to fund the DHS. Republicans have drafted a proposal they hope will break the logjam. It is one of the largest gatherings in the conservative movement, the annual Conservative Political Action Conference getting underway today in the Dallas suburb of Grapevine, Texas. Differing views on the Iran war are expected to be aired. Republican Senator Ted Cruz describes President Trump's decision to take action as exactly right. Stock futures higher ahead of this morning's opening bell on Wall Street. The Dow futures are up 364 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 215. S&P futures 49 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Coming to movie theaters from Sight and Sound Films.
George Whitfield has arrived to awaken the colonies.
One man was led by faith.
Arise! Come forth!
The other was a man of reason.
I am just the lightning rod. And who is the saucepan?
This Easter weekend, an unlikely friendship shaped a nation.
One candle illuminates 1,000.
A great awakening. In theaters April 3rd. Rated PG-13.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Dang, I forgot the wakeboard. How am I supposed to enjoy myself without my favorite water activity? I mean, sure, we could still go tubing, fishing, or even just relax on a floaty, but without the wakeboard, what's the point?
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive. So you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking highs towards that 80-degree mark this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Could see an isolated chance of a shower or two during the evening and overnight hours. Most of the area looking dry into Thursday. A high of 91. Going to be looking to break a long-standing record for the afternoon high. Partly sunny by the evening hours. We're going to be tracking some showers and storms with a first alert weather day as the strongest severe storm risk will continue to increase as we head towards the overnight hours until early Friday morning. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli. We're sitting here with our great friend, Chris Cooper. Hi, Chris.
What's going on, Vic? How are you?
I hear you wrote another book. This one's an e-book. Is that right?
The Business Owner's Playbook for Financial Clarity. So it is a great book for entrepreneurs. It's a very short guide. Give people, business owners, the ability to understand key questions that are important, such as succession planning, legacy planning, getting the IRS out of our pockets, right? Because do you like paying taxes?
I do not.
I don't think anybody likes paying taxes, right? That just makes sense. And then always talking about protection. And then the other thing from a business owner perspective, what is the biggest asset a business owner has? Probably their business itself, right? We need to make sure we understand what the value of that business is as well.
So this new book, I'm sure, is incredibly expensive, right? How much?
No, it's a free resource.
Oh, it's free.
We provide guidance, we provide education because we want to make sure people feel educated and understanding because sometimes you don't know what questions to ask, and we need to make sure we help arm people with information to ask the right question.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Mike Ferguson.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
Susie Moore.
Get out of here and stop playing victim.
Get up, St. Louis.
We have federal regulations that prohibit hunting duck, and yet it's legal to hunt humans.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
One of the things I think that's a disconnect when we're talking about what's in the headlines and the news and the policies, like, for instance, we're talking about illegal immigration, is that our side sometimes asks the question, why aren't you angry about this? Why aren't you worked up about this? Why aren't you demanding change? Especially after we hear about the murder of Loyola student Sheridan Gorman. Why aren't people more outraged? Why aren't people more outraged, when Laken Riley was murdered? Why aren't they? Well, in a lot of cases, normal people don't know about it because the big mainstream media just isn't telling them what's happened. So where's that balance between picking out something that just reinforces our narrative and reporting actual consequences of terrible policies?
Yeah, because there is a fine line between trying to exploit a tragedy versus using the tragedy as a reminder for why certain things are important to get done.
Because these situations, like the murder of Sheridan Gorman, that is emblematic and it tells the story of the consequences of what's happened. And we're now joined by Curtis Houck from NewsBusters, from our friends at Media Research Center. And you all just, Curtis, you wrote a really good blog on this. Laken Riley 2.0, networks barely cover latest alleged murder by an illegal immigrant, because we got to say alleged. There's been no conviction yet. We pretty much know what's going to happen on this. And that goes to the core of the question I was just talking about, Curtis, and that is, why aren't people rising up and demanding more change? Because this is such an overwhelmingly consensus issue. 75, 80, 85% say, of course we shouldn't be letting people in the country illegally. Then you could debate other aspects of it, refugees and whatever. But the reality is that many people don't know about it because mainstream media doesn't tell them. And, there's conservative media and that sort of thing. And we do our part, but we're not anywhere near the bigger picture in media.
Right. Yeah. I'll just say the broadcast networks have covered less than 4 minutes on Sheridan Gorman once it was found out that the suspect was an illegal immigrant. NBC News, 23 seconds, gentlemen. One teeny little news brief about this. illegal immigrant stricken with tuberculosis, mind you. So he's not just any other illegal immigrant. And the fact that he was out, guys, on shoplifting charges, too.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a situation where someone is in the country illegally, allowed to roam around, and someone who's been charged with a crime and is free to roam as well because we have soft on crime policies. Unfortunately, there's a portion of the country, leftist power brokers, are fine with these kinds of people being out there because no human is illegal, and they believe that this is kind of their base of voters. You know, I don't know how many time after time do we have to keep showing examples of this. And the argument is always, guys, American citizens commit less crime than illegal immigrants, which is a logical fallacy in of itself because all illegal immigrant crime is unnecessary crime. It's crime that would not be happening if we had a sane immigration policy in this country.
Yeah, Curtis, that's one of the things. I mean, when I was in TV news and then radio news as well, and when I used to work for newspapers, I remember still times, decades ago where we would have those debates over, what's ethical and what's not, and what do we need to include and what do we not. I mean, I worked for an NBC affiliate at one point. I've worked for a Fox affiliate. I've worked for, I've worked for an ABC affiliate. And so eventually you saw the bias as you sort of centralized the decision making on all this. But I was at the local level when I saw and was participating in some of these debates as to whether or not that's right or not. It's all just framing a narrative now. That doesn't happen anymore, would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, NBC News on Sunday, this wasn't included in my count, but NBC on Sunday spent about 90 seconds talking about the murder 24 hours after it was found that the suspect was an illegal alien. How do you leave that kind of stuff out? And this gets to a situation, this kind of gets to the point you're making, is there's debates, there should be debates inside newsrooms beyond just the simple politics, the left and right. There's also just what is right and wrong. It's the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And this isn't even like journalism principles that you would learn in maybe a J school. This is basic English comprehension. I know this may be PTSD for some listeners, but this is like going back to middle school and high school when you write a persuasive essay or you give a book report. You got to include all the relevant, pertinent, important information. And I feel like someone's immigration status is salient, important information. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, too, from a crime standpoint, this is the kind of story that if it were caused by, a crime of passion or someone that Ms. Gorman knew or had been in, again, as I said, an boyfriend or something like that or friend, this story would be all over the place. This is the kind of story, guys, where Lifetime or People Magazine, crime podcasts would be all over. But because of who the suspect is, hey, we got to take a step back. We can't actually talk about that. And that's where it gets really frustrating. And you could just add this to Rachel Moore and Jocelyn Nungray, any of these difficult cases, Lincoln Riley, Molly Tibbetts, but because of who it is, it somehow is not going to become a Dateline 48 hours special.
We're visiting with Curtis Houck from NewsBusters, our friends at the Media Research Center. And by the way, on the Rumble chat box, I just posted the link to your article on this, Laken Riley 2.0 as well. And there are times, at least there were times, Curtis, back when, before we had this proliferation of options, and at least if there's one good thing to the mainstream media, the legacy media's bias and incompetence is that we've had a bunch of, other streams pop up, but basically we're becoming more and more tribal. There was a case to be made at some point that, well, that's a tragedy, but that's a Chicago story. That's not a national story, but at this point here, we see the double standard, whereas if it validates a leftist narrative, they will go to the ends of the earth or to some small, tiny town in a desert community somewhere to make a point about something. So it's all about the storytelling and it's all about the engagement. And I'm all for the personalization and the storytelling, but you just have to have the integrity to make sure that you're doing it all the way around. And that's just nonsense to think that that's ever going to happen at this point, at least with the mainstream media. I mean, I don't expect, Newsmax or Fox News or any of them to go out of their way to tell the story of something that validates the left. And then, MSNBC or whatever they're called now, they're not going to, Axios, they're not going to go out of their way to tell the story of something that benefits the right. That's where the legacy media is supposed to have that basic calming effect. And here's the fact. Here are the facts. You're going to be well informed, make up your own mind. They abandoned that years ago.
Yeah, CNN is the kind of network now where, if a school board member in Oklahoma or Utah, allegedly said the N-word, when they were 20 years old, there's going to be stories about it, some patriotic curriculum is going in Nebraska or something. Mm-hmm. And CNN will talk about it because, you have these folks that are like, what does this mean about the state of the country? NBC had a number of stories about a school board in Texas that was conservative. A number of parents pushed back against a bunch of woke ideologies, and they created they hired somebody for a little while to be a correspondent and cover this part of Texas and kind of make it seem like it was kind of a white revolt or something like that. And what does this mean for the broader country writ large? And that's, again, taken to an extreme conclusion, but it just shows that, yes, to your point about local news, that if something fits their broader narrative, they will actually do it. And I'll just say, too, guys, even in this era of cuts to legacy elite media, financial cuts and personnel cuts, Chicago, all the networks still have someone in Chicago. So we're not talking about rural Pennsylvania or Ohio or something where, getting somebody there is a challenge. They all have correspondents in the Chicago area. That's how they were able to cover the Renee Good and Alex Preddy cases so quickly up in Minneapolis, because they had people from Chicago drive up there.
Yeah, and Curtis, of course, we just had the announcement that CBS is shutting down all of its radio operations as well, which actually affects one of the stations here in St. Louis as well. I used to work at a station that was a CBS radio affiliate. So then the question comes up to, is that a matter of the market responding and rejecting more of the mainstream media? What can we do about it other than go on to conservative media and complain about what the leftist mainstream media does? Is there a way we can demand and get more integrity out of all of the media that we're putting out there and consuming?
Oh, I think that's such a great point. And, my extended points are time for another day, but I would just say that it's important to continue a balanced media diet. I would not say that, the other thing that some of my colleagues down the hall at NewsBusters cover now is the big news apps, Google News, Apple News. I'm not saying to go there because those are overly simplistic and give you a very narrow view of things, but continue to take in a wide variety of sources. I would say what CBS is trying to do with Barry Weiss and the Tony DeCouple CBS Evening News is worth supporting. News Nation is worth supporting. So I think that is the key, to engage in all kinds of media and to give them your support, give them your feedback, share their clips on social media if it's something that you think is good. Because word of mouth, real or proverbial, using your social media is worth it nowadays. It does count for something because I think, it is all on us at the end of the day, the individual.
Yeah, and
we're not the left. We're not the left where we're saying, no, you must do X, Y, and Z, and we must collectively move as the Borg. But,
yeah, and that's the market.
The individuals.
Yeah, that's the market speaking as well. And the market pressure. To me, the CBS radio getting shut down, that's a result of the market. They just are not profitable anymore because their product is not marketable as much anymore.
Right, and ads and the internet. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Curtis, once again, people to follow the work that you do. Best website, there's a few to choose from. What's the best way to do it?
Yeah, newsbusters.org, newsbusters.org, at Newsbusters on X and Facebook. I'm at Curtis Houck, all one word. We also have a Newsbusters app, Apple and Google Play.
All right, great. Curtis, thanks so much, man. Good talking to you.
Thanks, guys.
When I was years and years ago in a different city, I was at a station that was a CBS News affiliate. We were a conservative talk station, but all of our quarter-hour news was CBS. So I would, twice a show, I would go on and just rip apart the national news that we just aired for how biased and bad it was and correct it on the air and talk about how much our national news sucked on the station I was on.
We need to bring that back.
I got called into the boss's office, who was like the number 2 guy in like of all the stations, and he goes, listen, we're getting a lot of calls from our customers about you, or our listeners about you ripping into CBS News. I'm like, okay, here it goes. He goes, keep doing it. They love it. They love it. So I kept doing it.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
They were drinking water out of the toilet.
On Newstalk STL.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Hot matchup, colder drinks, only at Busch Stadium when the Cardinals host the Tampa Bay Rays on Sunday, March 29th. Fans will take home a stainless steel Cardinals tumbler presented by Coca-Cola and Quick Trip. Designed to lock in the cold and show off your Cardinals pride, it's the perfect companion for 9 innings and beyond. A practical addition to any Cardinals collection that'll keep you cool all game long. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Nolan Gorman. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Capastrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Hi, this is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the region's largest RE/MAX real estate brokerage. It is cold outside, but the real estate market is hot. This is a great time to buy or sell a home. Interest rates are also declining, which gives you more buying power. Someday is not a day on the calendar, but today is. Call me at 314-852-8933 for a free custom home buying plan. 314-852-8933.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint, formulated to outsmart the elements. Rain or shine, sleet or snow, mold or mildew. Our home exterior coatings intelligently designed to stand up to Mother Nature. Call 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Hey, Chris Arps from the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show. Make sure that you're listening to our show this afternoon from 4 to 6. Now back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
All right, Republicans call it the Missouri First Map.
Oh.
The state's Supreme Court calls it legal.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sam Page makes another round of spending cuts, and some of you may want to make different plans for the 4th of July now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the basic details here, and then at 8:35, let's dig into this a little bit deeper here. And also, baseball fans, it would be me. You're sort of a baseball fan.
I live vicariously through you.
There we
so
go.
I
Okay.
appreciate your appreciation for baseball.
Happy opening day to all of us who celebrate MLB's opening day. We'll tell you what's going on with that. Cardinals, that's right. And the Cardinals start tomorrow. But we'll give you the details on opening day here in just a minute. 8:22 right now. Let's go ahead and do one more news dump.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
Okay, Missouri's new congressional map stands. That is the decision of the state Supreme Court, which by a 4-3 vote, it was close, upheld the lower court's ruling that said lawmakers have the right to redistrict basically anytime they want. As long as they do it at least once every 10 years, they could redistrict as much as they want. So in theory, because there's no prohibition on it, they could run the math every single year and pass a new congressional map for the next election. So they could do that. Now, I don't know that they're going to, but the court has said, the court didn't rule whether the map was a good idea or a bad idea. They just said that lawmakers have the ability to do it. That's all that this lawsuit was.
So then, because I know constitutionally it has to be every 10 years. So they
At least, yeah.
So they can do it as much as they want, but they also have to do it every deadline.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. After every new census, there has to be one, but the court said there's nothing that says you can't do it more often.
Interesting.
So basically, gerrymandering is essentially legal. Now, there's another lawsuit, as Susie was pointing out a little bit ago, regarding was the map drawn consistent with the guidelines to draw them? Were they drawn to keep the districts compact and communities of interest together? That is all incredibly subjective. My guess is that part will stand. And also in another ruling, the court upheld the state's voter ID requirement as well. So 2 big rulings there. Okay, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page blames the county council for another round of budget cuts. Now, here's the thing. Among them, he made this big show of saying, here's what I'm cutting and here's what I'm changing. And it doesn't make any sense. Now, if he came in and cut like something major that's even really, really popular, that's not a core government essential, I would even say, listen, I don't like the guy, but at least he's making some budget cuts. These don't make much sense at all. We'll tell you why here. Now, among them, he's canceling the JB Blast 4th of July fireworks event in South County.
Canceling 4th of July feels extremely unpatriotic.
Well, yeah, and the numbers, because we just talked to Mike Archer from the county council, which that's going to be up on our podcast here in a little bit. He says the numbers don't even make sense on that. So this is Sam Page essentially trying to rile people up to get mad at the county council, which is trying to hold him accountable for the overspending that he keeps trying to do.
Okay, I might have to go back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning podcast
and
listen to that, because it's wild that Sam Page, it's like he does the opposite of what he should be doing at every given opportunity.
Well, and another thing, he announced that 3 county buildings are going to be closed to the public on Friday. So basically the key government offices are going to be closed to the public every Friday, starting this Friday. So the employees still have to show up to work. They're just not going to have to deal with, the people who pay their salaries. So they go to work, they're doing their paperwork. Sure, I'm sure they'll be working super hard when there's nobody there to look at them. But they're going to be there, but no marriage licenses, no, getting a permit to build that deck, none of that. That's got to be a Monday through Thursday thing. So how in the world is that saving money? I don't know.
Don't those things also cost money to have filed? And
right.
So you're basically cutting the ability to generate revenue while also paying the employees. I mean, is this going to save you a little bit on the cleaning bill from the janitor? Or what?
Well, no, because the employees are still going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
It's just they're going to lock the front door.
Okay, that's just bizarre.
Yeah, very strange. All right, so 8:35. Let's go into this a little more depth. Okay, a spokesman for Iran's military command says that their armed forces are going to fight until they achieve complete victory.
The comments by Major General Ali Abdullani Al-Abadi of the Qatar headquarters appear related to U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement that there were negotiations ongoing between Tehran and Washington. Iran has denied any talks are taking place, though its foreign minister has been talking to counterparts around the region. Iranian state television quoted Ali Abadi as saying, quote, Iran's powerful armed forces are proud, victorious, and steadfast in defending Iran's integrity, and this path will continue until complete victory. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Okay, I don't have any way of knowing for sure, but I still think Bernie just is messing with us and made up some of those names.
Yeah, when he was saying that, I saw some of the furniture levitating in the studio there.
Exactly.
He hexed us.
All right, you cannot call him senator anymore. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen is now Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen. He was sworn in as the new Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security in the Oval Office yesterday.
No one's going to outwork me, and I'm not going to let any of them outwork me. The president has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. And so thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And, of course, the secretary takes the job just as part of his department, much of his department, is not funded at the moment, so he's basically taking over a mess. Congratulations, Mark Wayne. You got this job. Oh, by the way, you got this job.
So he's not going to be celebrating with a commercial announcing him.
No, on horseback or whatever. Yeah, so senators still discussing a proposal to end the Homeland Security stalemate that's now lasted several weeks.
The plan being discussed would authorize funding for much of the Homeland Security Department, including TSA airport workers who are going without pay. But Congress would withhold funding from ICE and its removal operations, which are at the core of the dispute. Senate leaders from both parties say the two sides are working in a serious way and hopefully headed in the right direction. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And Newsmax is reporting at the moment that whatever the latest iteration of those negotiations has been rejected by the Democrats. Basically what we're looking at, who's going to blink first? Mm-hmm. This is a big political game of chicken. And the result of this is that in an increasing number of airports around the country, you're being told literally get there for your flight 4 to 5 hours early. Lambert has escaped this so far, but I wouldn't show up just an hour early. I would get there a couple hours early just in case. At some point, the longer this goes, eventually this is going to hit Lambert.
Yeah, I've also seen some speculation that there are going to be actual full-on shutdowns of certain airports.
Yes.
So that's something to consider. Maybe start taking the train if you have that option. I mean, it'll take you, by the time you get on the plane, the train will have arrived anyways.
Yeah, depending on where you're going. Yeah. All right, no excuse early voting is now underway on the Missouri side. This is for the April elections. Contact your county clerk or election board if you've got any questions. We need big conservative turnouts for these local elections, especially the school board elections, and especially around the area. There are some things that are just outright tax increases on the ballot. You need to know what you're voting for, and you got time to do it. And no excuses. Get in there and vote. Make sure you get that done. Blues win at home last night, shutting out the Capitals. Final score 3-0. Up next is another game at home. This is going to be Thursday at Enterprise Center when the San Jose Sharks are in town. And it is opening day for Major League Baseball. The Yankees and the Giants have the first game of the season. That's going to be in San Francisco. Tonight's game is at 7:05, and it's on Netflix. Netflix, yeah.
Wasn't expecting that one.
I know. Cardinals start the season at home tomorrow afternoon against the Rays.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Can you tell me what is queering the map?
So I think we were trying to make the maps more gay.
Literally?
How
do you make a map more gay?
I mean,
on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking highs towards that 80-degree mark this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Could see an isolated chance of a shower or two during the evening and overnight hours. Most of the area looking dry into Thursday. A high of 91. Going to be looking to break a long-standing record for the afternoon high. Partly sunny by the evening hours. We're going to be tracking some showers and storms with a first alert weather day as a strong to severe storm risk will continue to increase as we head towards the overnight hours until early Friday morning. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shane Scott.
Fox News commentary with Craig Gutfeld. Next.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Here's Greg Gutfeld.
What Trump is doing now, and you have to admit this, is downstream from your own dereliction of your party. What brought us here? The Democrats embraced the luxury beliefs that selfishly elevated their own virtue, identity politics primarily. Did nothing for the real problems of the world, did nothing about our foreign policy issues, did nothing about getting food on the table, did nothing about education. Americans figured that out, but so did the world. They were watching. I think the shock over Trump is his return to reality. We're back making moves in the practical world, and it has nothing to do with a singular person type identity. This is disorienting to people whose careers were based on the split world of identity politics, who have no idea what a national identity is, who have no idea what the melting pot is. That's all he is doing, and it drives them crazy because they forgot that language.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, it's good to hear you.
Hey, Dad, isn't it good to see ya?
Yep, but with smoke alarms, we need to hear them. If one alarm is downstairs, you might not hear it upstairs.
At school, everyone hears the fire alarm.
That's why we install hardwired smoke alarms that all go off together, just like school.
Smoke alarms done the right way.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
I want to share something with you. Cooking a pizza using coal creates an amazing pizza. Only one place to get it, Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield. Of course, they offer a wide variety of pasta, but you just visit the website NapoliSTL.com, dine in or take out, and get ready for patio season. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield Valley. Try it. You can thank me later.
Ever feel like just a number in a waiting room? Hi, I'm Shannon Tribune, Director of Operations with Body of Health Direct Primary Care. Navigating the medical system can be a maze of stress. I'm your personal guide at Body of Health. I handle the messy parts of medical care, the logistics and complex coordination, both in and outside our walls, so you and Dr. Tobler, that's my dad, can focus on what matters most, your health. At Body of Health, you're not just a patient, you're part of the family, because that's healthcare the way it ought to be. To learn more, schedule a discovery call at bodyofhealth.com.
This is what's happening.
The Save America Act, and it's exactly that.
It should only be looked at through the prism of how does this benefit American people?
1019 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Good morning, St. Louis. Hey, it's Vince from The Vince Show right here on News Talk STL every weeknight at 8. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Oh, Sam.
Sam he am.
Sam is, Sam's just like being all Sam at this point. And, you know, before I got into the opinion side of things, I think a lot of people know that I was a journalist for a long time. And I've done newspaper coverage, I've done television coverage, I've done radio coverage. And so I've covered a lot of local government. And I've been elected to local government. So I have a feeling like I understand local government more than the average bear, just because I've been there. Okay? Bless you.
Donka.
There's something at Nutrition Stop that can help you with that.
Yeah, there was an awesome guy in here that was telling me about how I need to cut all of the amazing sugars I consume and start eating thistle and other yard waste that I find in the yard. Sorry, Ryan.
Okay, so here's what's different when you see what's really interesting about the dynamics of the county council. And I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes of what Sam was saying, is that there's two things that jump out at me. One, that Republican and Democrat doesn't really mean a lot on the county council. They are pretty well united and they work really well. And this isn't just for show. You know, I talk to Mark Harder a couple times a week sometimes. I talk to him at least once a week. You know, Mike Archer and I, you know, Dennis Hancock and I, we talk, you know, either text or something at least once a week, if not every other week or so. They genuinely like and respect their Democratic colleagues for the most part. There's one there, but I think it's just kind of a weirdo, but they really get along well and they respect each other and they really do work together. And you know, the R and the D thing is just kind of a side note in a lot of cases. So what's interesting is that the party thing doesn't matter as much in the county because it's council versus Sam Page. The other thing is that things have deteriorated with these relationships so bad that both parties are willing to just slam the guy right in front of him in the county meeting area, in front of the cameras and the microphones. That's how little they think of Sam Page, not just as an elected official, but as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are currency in politics.
Yeah.
You can disagree with somebody 9 times out of 10, but that one time that you agree on something, you need to get something done, because if you don't like each other, it's not going to happen. And so those are the interesting dynamics on this. So Sam Page, he's throwing a fit because he's being told constantly, no, you cannot keep spending that much money And no, you can't just go to the Rams settlement money to pay for your overspending. And he's really mad, and so he's doing all these like virtue signal things. Like, remember a few weeks ago, he called a press conference saying, well, we're going to close these 2 pools for the summer. So kids are not going to be able to go swim at these pools because we need to cut this much out of the budget. Well, first of all, it's a little tiny drop. But what was the answer for fiscal conservatives? We went, okay, makes sense. You got to make tough decisions when you're overspending. These are the 2 least used pools in the county. Sorry for the kids or the families in the neighborhood. You might have to drive another 3 or 4 miles to go swimming somewhere else. Oh, well. That's what happens when you're overspending, is that the bill comes due and you have to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
And Page wasn't even criticized for making that change for the pools. Everybody went, okay, it's a good start. And I don't know if that confused him. I don't know if that wasn't the reaction I think he was expecting the public to rise up and demand that the county keep spending all this money. So he announces yesterday a couple of things. One is that the county, 3 main county offices, including the one in Clayton, are going to be closed to the public starting on Friday. The employees still go. The employees still do their paperwork. I mean, honestly, the front door is going to be locked. I mean, come on. If nobody's watching you and it's a Friday and you don't have to deal with any customers, are you really bearing down? It's going to be bingo casual Friday there, whatever. But he's arguing that this is going to be a good fiscal return. And here's his description for why closing the offices to the public, not closing them to the public, is going to be a good thing.
This will allow our Department of Revenue employees to catch up on the backlog. It will allow them to process senior property tax freeze applications, and it will allow them more time to process tax-free refunds. It will help some.
That doesn't make any sense. That's your job anyway. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, and even the logic, whatever, if you can even call it that, is flawed, because he's saying that the reason for that is to provide them a little bit of grace period to catch up on stuff, but it does not mean that suddenly the people that would show up on a Friday that still want all this stuff done are not going to do it. Now they're probably going to show up on a Monday or another day, and that's just going to keep the backlog going.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. And that means that with these county offices being closed to the public on Fridays, you want to go fill out the thing for your marriage license? Okay, well, you can't do it Friday. You got Monday through Thursday to do it. You want to get that permit to build that deck or put that fence in or the new plumbing or the electrical or whatever it is that you need to get from the county, which, frankly, you have to ask for too much permission from county government anyway. But for the stuff that you're supposed to do, that means that you take out 1/5 of the days, so the other 4 days are going to be more packed. So the same stuff's going to have to get done. We just can't get to the county government. So County Councilman Ritter Days responded to that announcement.
You're not saving any money by doing that. You're just simply denying, again, the constituency access to the government that they're paying for.
And that was audios from KSDK, yeah. I mean, she's right.
Absolutely.
And so the other thing is Sam Page says, well, we're canceling the JV Blast, the fireworks celebration for the 4th of July in South County. Here's what he had to say, because he says it was a budget-cutting measure.
The total outlay for this event is around $50,000, but it's $50,000 that isn't available.
Okay, so here's the thing, is if on its face, I would actually agree with that. Saying, okay, Sam, you're going to take the heat for cutting something that's not a core government function. You know what? I'll even have your back. Except that's not the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
That $50,000 isn't what the county actually pays out. That may be what the whole thing cost. Because Sam Page also went to say, you know what, we have to rent the porta potties. We have to, provide some things for the volunteers. We've got to, buy the fireworks and all this kind of stuff. Okay, well, $50,000 for something that's just entertainment. Yeah, that's not the government's job to entertain us. Except we talked to Mike Archer a little bit ago, and he goes, yeah, except the government isn't spending that money.
Oh.
Yeah. So here's what Mike said to a KSDK reporter last night, and then we talked to him a little bit ago, and we'll have that podcast up in a little bit. But here was his immediate response. And just to put the mind's eye picture in your head, this was interview being done by a bunch of reporters in the county council chambers. So in the government building, I don't know if Sam Page had already left, but this is like right where they do business.
It's not costing St. Louis County that much money, especially with the private sponsors, for a community-related event.
Is it retaliation then against, not getting the budget that he proposed?
I've said that, sometimes I feel like I'm dealing with a petulant child.
And so Mike actually repeated that there. He said, out of this $50,000 outlay, the spending, this budget, he said the county ended up spending about $2,600 because there were so many corporate sponsors who want to underwrite this. And so we asked Mike a little bit earlier, and again, this is going to be up on the podcast here in another hour or so, if there was only $2,600 left to get covered, is it possible that you can get a sponsor to cover the whole thing and the county government doesn't have to spend anything? And Mike said, yeah. He goes, yes, but then we have to get a permit from Sam Page's administration.
And Sam Page is the one that wants to punish everybody by canceling this.
I think that's exactly what they're doing, Jerome. I think you're right.
Oh, man.
Is if this whole thing can get underwritten, he talked about River City Casino and one of the banks and the others who are more than happy to sponsor this for who knows how much money and then put a big banner up and that's part of their advertising campaign. Great. Then you have the community event. It's free to go attend. You sit there in the park right there at JB and watch the fireworks over the river. Great. So is Sam Page just saying, I have to inflict pain on somebody, so let's go inflict pain as where it's going to make people the angriest, like a tradition for 4th of July. And here's the thing is that is an extra thing that government doesn't need to be doing. But if Mike's right, and I think he is, government's not paying for it in the first place because private sponsors are taking care of it. Just make it a private event.
Yeah, it really, truly feels like Sam Page is sitting there saying, you won't give me the extra money I want to spend. You don't want me to be in power. Well, fine. I'm going to take something from you then.
Yep.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm at a loss for words right now. This is what I would expect from a toddler throwing a temper tantrum because you said no more cookies, not a grown adult with apparently a doctor who is an elected official trying to be vindictive.
I have seen people who are just bad at their job in elected office. I've worked with a couple. There was a guy on the board of aldermen that I was with. The guy was a complete lackey for one special interest group, just terrible at his job. And so, of course, he went and got elected to the state legislature, and he was terrible at his job there. Even his fellow Democrats were like, oh, that guy's dumb. He doesn't know anything. We just tell him how to vote and he votes, so at least we've got that. But we would never put him in charge of something. I've seen people who are bad at that. Sam Page, I think, is bad at this. I think to quote something I read or heard Days also said to media yesterday, I think Sam Page is just in over his head. His entire administration is in over their head. They are just not competent enough to do the job itself. But at the same time, they're now petulant, to use Mike Archer's word, and they are trying to inflict pain on other people. They're going to go down swinging and they're going to hit anybody that they can on the way down without actually solving and fixing the problems.
They're really taking the Iran approach right now. Now that I think about it, I would really hate to be one of Sam Page's staffers at the moment.
Yeah, that's not going to look good on your resume. Let's put it that way.
No. So you're the one that came up with the idea to cancel 4th of July?
Right.
Rejected.
Yeah, so I know what I'm doing in public policy. Where'd you work, Sam Page? Ooh, no, thank you. No. I don't think so. Doesn't sound like you know what you're doing there. So, and this is the consequences, of electing. And remember, you blame a lot of people. Majority Democratic voters in St. Louis County elected the guy. But remember, in the last election, Republicans nominated a nutcase who had no chance of campaigning at all. Well, now you've got a solid candidate on the Republican side in Dennis Hancock, a whole different story. And the Democrats have two candidates who are going to be very formidable, whoever wins. So it's a county that leans blue, but it's not deep blue. So this is going to be an interesting campaign. And then, of course, we'll see what happens with Sam Page's criminal case against him as well. And the ethics complaint, because apparently he's violating the charter again.
Oh, no.
By having an outside job, which is explicitly prohibited by the county charter.
What goes on in Sam Page's mind?
I used to want to get into somebody's head to figure it out and see what they see. last place I want to be is in Sam Page's head. That's for sure.
Well, I know many places I'd rather be than Sam Page's head as well. One of which is here on Flashback Fridays when we play all of our audience's great 80s bump music requests. Being that it's Bump Day!
Bump Day!
That means that we're calling on you to start your submission. So send your 80s bump music request to me, Jerome, at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Our country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by idiots.
On NewsTalk STL. The Hammond Institute at Lindenwood University and NewsTalk STL invite you to an exclusive discussion on Missouri's tax future. Manish Bhatt, Vice President of State Tax Policy for the Tax Foundation, will explore our state's tax competitiveness and the latest efforts to eliminate individual income tax and property tax. Wednesday, March 25th at Lindenwood University, part of the H.F. Langenberg Speaker Series. The event is free, but you must RSVP at hammondinstitute.org. That's hammondinstitute.org.
Cardinal Nation, it's time to paint the town red.
Opening day of Cardinal baseball at Busch Stadium.
And there's nothing else like it.
It's a St. Louis tradition.
Two things define St. Louis: Cardinal baseball and News Talk STL.
Play ball!
Cardinal baseball opening day, March 26th, backed by our hometown favorites, Dushan High School, Freddy's Market, and D. Gregorio's Food Products.
Cardinal baseball.
If you love your pet, which I know you do, then they deserve the excellent treatment and care they'll receive at Pacific Animal Hospital in Pacific, Missouri, a full-service veterinarian facility. Originally built and grown by my dad, Dr. Bill Jones, a new generation of wonderful veterinarians and staff at Pacific continue to provide outstanding medical, surgical, dental, boarding, and grooming services for your favorite furry friends. Our family entrusts the care of our pets only to the experienced docs and staff at Pacific Animal Hospital. You should too. Call them today, 636-257-2100, 24/7 at PacificVets.com, PacificVets.com.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Gas prices are up. Stock market is down. What exactly do we do with our money? Well, Chris Cooper will tell us what to do about that Friday at 11:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on NewsTalk STL.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here, waiting for you for the 3 Martini Lunch, the Common Sense Radio, the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Now back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, opening days tomorrow.
You look so excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I'm a baseball nerd, of course, but it's different in St. Louis. I'm telling you, man, it's different in St. Louis.
So I'm suffering with a little bit of hay fever, but I think you got baseball fever.
I got
my
baseball
friend.
fever, that's right. Well, I've got baseball practice like this afternoon.
Ooh.
2. Maybe one on, I do have one Friday night. I got another practice, and I've got another one maybe Saturday afternoon if my team can find a place to practice. And then I'm actually going to be catching 2 different scrimmages on Sunday. I go from one right to the other, couple different teams as well. But in St. Louis, I mean, remember last year, everybody was kind of stunned because opening day didn't sell out last year. And that's unheard of in St. Louis. But that was that year-long message that the fans were sending to the front office. And the front office finally later in the year publicly said, message received. We get it. You're not happy because we're not, doing what we should be doing in the front office, trying to put a competitive team on the field. And so the fans didn't abandon the team or the players. They gave a big middle finger to the front office, I think is what they did last year.
It was a bit of a soft cut, I guess.
Yeah.
It was not necessarily that they were mad at the team and they were up in arms. We're not going to support you at all. But it was definitely trying to send that message of, look, if you guys are not going to get your act together, then there are other ways for us to enjoy baseball without us physically having to go there.
Right. And we can spend our entertainment dollars anywhere. If you're not going to invest in what is a tradition in St. Louis, because this isn't just a ball team, this isn't just an entertainment venue, this is part of St. Louis. This is a massive part as to who and what St. Louis is. St. Louis Cardinals baseball for over 100 years.
It is a tradition, and you don't mess with tradition.
Right. And so you uphold your end of the bargain. So let me give you a spoiler. The Cardinals are not going to be very good this year. They are probably going to finish in last place in the National League Central. I'm telling you that right now. Probably last place.
Ooh.
But here's the thing. I think the fans will still come back because what we're seeing with the team is more aggressive, getting more pitchers, I mean, listen, it's hard for me to, I don't know when I'll get out to a Cardinals game, but it's going to be hard not seeing Nolan Arenado there. He's my favorite Cardinal. We're still getting used to not seeing Yadier Molina after a couple of years. Not there. Paul Goldschmidt's not there. Adam Wainwright's not there. They all retired. But then you look at all the solid players that the Cardinals have traded away. You look at who's out there right now, and this is a very, very young team. But what's happened is the Cardinals got very, very aggressive to trade for players who are going to be prospects that they're going to try to build the team around in the coming years. I think fans will respect that.
Yes.
So I think they'll come back. Whether tomorrow's a sellout or not, I don't know. But I do think that the fans, even if the team's not winning, when they see the Cardinals being aggressive and building something, I think that they will say, okay, they heard the message that we gave. We'll support them when they're trying to, build something for the future. You're not going to turn around a team like that in 1 year. That's for sure.
Yeah, Coco, who was on from the marketing team, even went through and said, look, we've heard, not only what we needed to improve, the things that we're changing and implementing to make it more appealing to come out physically out to the games, but also regarding the safety of the area, that they've recognized that is a big part of people's complaints when it comes to that part of the city. And so they're doing what's within their ability at this point to actually try to make it a safer and more fun experience for everybody.
Have you been out to a Cardinals game last year or two?
I've been to two of them over
a couple,
the years,
You know that when you get to Ballpark Village, they've got the generally permanent concrete barriers. I think when the team's not in town, you can still drive through right there. But, the security is everywhere. I still personally will only go to day games. Downtown has a long way to go. That's just me. But once you get into Ballpark Village, I don't feel unsafe at Ballpark Village at all.
No. I've walked around Ballpark Village, and again, I'm a colossal.
You're a pretty big
nature,
guy,
But even some of my my female associates, that they will have little girls' nights and they'll go around. They said that they've never really felt. You get the drunk people that are just obnoxious, but they have not felt actually like unsafe with themselves.
Not in Ballpark Village. No. Now, once you get outside of Ballpark Village,
blocks
that's
away,
thing.
of course.
Yeah. So you got to pay for the parking for sure. Like when I first moved here all those years ago, there was a parking lot that was just south of the stadium, and I liked it because it was fenced in, and it was one of those where they had an attendant, and I think it was. This had to be almost 10 years ago. And they had a little punch card, and it's like every 10th time I parked there, I got a free one, but it was fenced in. So I would walk all the way past, the Blues bar and all those underneath the overpass up to the stadium. I'm like, well, that's worth it. My car's, safer, I should say. And I don't know that I would do that now necessarily, because that's just how things have changed. But I will just pay the extra for the parking right there by the stadium, or you know what? Just take a dang Lyft in or Uber in or something.
We had a couple of interesting comments. So our Democratic friend Scooter says that he wants to issue a bet to you that Cards will finish better than last, and that
let's make a bet on it.
And that he thinks the wager should be a donation to a food bank.
Let's do it.
Okay, so you've heard it here. Mike is accepting your bet, Scooter.
Yep. Because what's the worst happen? I lose, and the Cardinals are better than I thought, and I make a donation to the food bank. I'm in.
Perfect.
Yep.
And then PMS is saying that he was at a trivia night where they had an auction for 4 tickets behind home plate, supposedly a $600 value. He bet, placed a bet. There was only one other person that bet against him, and that came nowhere close to the $600 value. And he said that that's how bad it's gotten so far.
Yes. I still think the fans are going to. I don't think the fans are as mad because there's a new boss in town. Mozeliak's gone. Chaim Bloom is in now. So I think they're going to give him a chance. And Chaim Bloom is clearly being aggressive in the trades. There were a couple trades where I'm like, I don't know if I like that, but you know what? I respect the aggressiveness. I was among those who said you need to go out and get, build something, and so he's building something. So I can't have it both ways. I gotta say, all right, you guys are doing what the market wants you to do, and that's work to build a championship. The goal here should be playoffs in another year or two, championship within 3, 4, 5 years. That's what St. Louis wants. We're accustomed to world championships here, and we haven't had one in way, way, way too long. But of course, with Martin here the other day from the Cardinals front office, we just got a lot of fun stuff going on. A lot of fun stuff.